Hey guys, welcome back to the Vid-Bits. I'm Brian, and we're going to continue our quest to chomp up the leaderboards in Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs. We're really happy to be representing as the #1 PlayStation player in the world. So right now I figure I'm going to give a little bit of love to a subset of the leaderboards, and it's going to be the people that are undefeated. I'm only going to do the top 10 right now. The top 10 undefeated people in Chomp Champs right now, and we're going to start at the bottom with Eli, or LE1, with 193 and 0 at number 10. Number 9, we have a trio going at head-to-head, which we have a couple of those in the bracket. We have Freight Train 799 and 208 and 0 at number 9. Number 8, there's Stolen Shot at 209 and 0. Number 7, we have Lucifer Heaven at 219 and 0. That's that first trio. Going up the boards here at number 6, we get to the second trio. It's P-Man 454. And I believe he would be at 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Number 6. Number 5, David A. Ow, or 00, 293 and 0. Number 5, Space, and that person climbs a little bit recently, so gotta watch out for Space at 334 and 0, and that's the end of that trio. Then the top trio here, as you can see, and the number, I probably messed the number up, so here's number 4. Number 3 would be Mr. Socrates 1988 at 489 and 0. Number 2 would be us truly, the Vid-Bits, your reigning, basically the PlayStation console champion of this game, representing as the OG Pac-Man non-skinned for entire 569 and 0 as Pac-Man. Number 2, and then number 1, Cozy YT at an impressive 829 and 0. So, you know, we have our own goals within our goals here, and it's pretty impressive that you can have, like, we're already up in the stratosphere, the PAC stratosphere, and we're having our own, you know, mini competitions. It's in 3, like I said, 3 different trios of undefeated people. So, you know, when you're competing, we talk about staying in our own lane here a lot. You know, we have, I believe, ELIE or Eli E1, and they're doing their own thing, and then we have this trio that's competing against each other, and they're so close. The 22, 23rd, and 24th spots, and it's impressive because they're doing what this trio is doing, the same thing, competing with each other, that they're their own competition. Is you know, P-Man, David, and Space may be thinking, I just wanted to crack the top 10, and they all cracked the top 10, competing probably closely together. And then you have us at the very top, which we just passed Socrates, and we're just trying to leave them in the dust. I'm so sorry. So sorry that we've pushed a mighty 80 games ahead, trying to chase down Kofi, and then ultimately go up against Mint Daddy. So this is where the game is. It's almost its own little story. I hope that you're enjoying following along. We're having a wonderful time helping curate something out of an arcade game that they find a way to spun into an amazing opportunity in the form of a battle royale. So with that, we're going to get started for this sesh. We're going to hit a couple pack snacks, which in the Vid-Bits terms is a 90-minute sesh, so we're going to do 2 of those. So a couple pack snacks, and you can usually rack up around 18 wins if you don't lag your play and you just keep hitting play and keep going for it. So let's get in the mazes and see what kind of lay we're going to get. Hopefully we'll come across some people, and we can see if there's any other Chomp Champs out here that are trying to mess with us. But some good games, some good RNG, some good tunnels, some really tight lanes, and really some good play. Maybe we can get past the grapes in this little mini sesh. We've seen some crazy stuff, like a couple 4-player, you know, even if it's bots, but a couple 4-player rooms, still trying to pop that 5-player achievement. So there's some sort of metrics that, you know, within our own play we're trying to hit, and these goals are going to be attainable, guys, and we're going to hit them all in time. But we're happy that you're here with the Vid-Bits. You're happy, hopefully, hanging out with us, and I'm Brian hanging out right now. We have Braden as well. He'll be hanging out with you guys later doing some stuff. We got Game of Day May episode. I believe it is, sorry, the days are a little blended together right now. Day 18 for us, so hopefully you'll tune into the rest of that content where we play a different game every day in the month of May, and we're really happy to be able to curate that content for you because it's very passionate to us to be able to help you do stuff like eliminate your backlog, and in this case, this year, focus an indie title every day in the month of May. So we're gonna just dial in here, get some dubs, you know, a couple 18 stacks, a couple pack snacks, and it's gonna be sweet. And then I'm going to hand it off to Bray, where he's going to be hopefully well, I don't really want to spoil it because he's got some stuff to do. A couple balls in the air, but I don't know exactly how he's going to juggle them today. He can delve out a couple different ways to do his content. So I always like to give, we have individual liberties that we can take when we do these sessions for you guys and these content drops, and we are really hoping that you're enjoying being a part of this experience here, and also stuff like I said, Game of Day May, and all the different sub-series that we do. We have individual sessions like based on how you play as a gamer. You have that game that you're hardcore dialed into, then you have that game you play kind of casually, then you play that game that you play hardcore with your friends maybe, and then maybe casually with your friends. We offer both of our individual lives exposed to you guys in those formats, then also try to blend them together, and a lot of it is really dependent on the experiences that you guys want us to see. Even if it's playing the same games that we've all played over again, trying to delve those out to you in different experiences, and I hope that you appreciate that, because I don't believe it's difficult to do, and it maybe will reverse a little bit of the YouTube burnout some of you have if you're just obsessively watching some of the same stuff over again, that you can find us as a way to spin that again with a different perspective, and also integrating your opinion maybe a little bit more than you felt that you were able to be felt with other content creators. No disrespect to those, anybody that's ever come before us. We're just trying to add this delicious stew, this pot d'état, in the way that you feel about the whole essence of the experience. We're just trying to make that better than we found it when we got it, and also an appreciation for what it's done for both me and Braden. Literally, we've watched more YouTube in our lives than we've watched basic cable. Not me necessarily caught up personally, but Braden for sure. And it's amazing that YouTube allows us to actually be the television that we would want to watch. And we're blessed and very thankful to be able to have that opportunity. Also, I actually have to make sure I shout out to our good friends at Bandai Namco for being able to create such an experience for us. It's not a corporate shill. We love the brands. We represent them in our content, and we did that before I even made sure to actually just respectfully, shout them out, because you guys are awesome. You've given us an opportunity to live our dreams by having great experiences through video game content, whereas even if it's just the dream of being another character, or in my case, being Pac-Man and going through these halls, and now in an amazing way in our day and age to be able to publicly show that to other people and put myself raw and emotional out there, like you would in the arcades back in the day. You were very vulnerable. You're standing with your back to everybody. Like, who wants their back stood to everybody? And we're literally standing here in YouTube with our backs to everybody, being vulnerable, but also being very, accessible like you were in the arcade, because you couldn't really hide your tech in the arcade. You could, people could look at your hands, and people could see what you're doing, and that's kind of like the essence of what the Vid-Bits are, especially when we're playing these type of games, these arcade games, these very vulnerable games where we can get emotional. I love the fact that these games can make you emotional, and they can invoke emotion. Watching somebody like Braden play Souls, so I get emotional because it's my son. I get emotional because I watch the ride of hit and the wave of his emotion, and then I get to see and live vicariously through a game that I may not be able to actuate the same way as him. And it's just a beautiful thing that you actually get to see the raw emotion when we go live, where he can't hide how he feels about the experience and how you feel about the experience. And it's amazing that we have companies like Bandai Namco that can continue to give us those, and I'm happy that it's all married that way. So very cool. Other than that, I hope that you're having a wonderful Saturday, and we're going to have a wonderful continuous stream, if you will, of content flowing from the Vid-Bits. So like, share, and subscribe so that we can continue to broaden our reach, our halo effect, if you will, of the content that we give to you guys. So, we are just going to get tighter with it. It's going to be more, not produced, but more, beautiful as far as like the interfaces and stuff. We're going to be able to get the reach of the people that can give us the knowledge that we need to have to get this in, better production quality for you guys. And it's just going to get better from here. And as we like to say, this is just the beginning. was a little dicey. Sometimes I get a little bit too much in thought. Pac-Man's a wonderful game to help you meditate. If you've never played it in a meditative way, it's because you haven't been like so stressed that stuff happens. Now, if you haven't ever played it in a meditative way where you've thought about it so much, because you know, when you're trying to not die, you have to think only about what's going on in the game itself. So sometimes it gets so deep that you can think about other things because you're just that into the game, and you've now turned it around where you're not being chased by ghosts, but you're kind of chasing them. I really need to get down there and get that. Stunner cartoon is going to help me, hopefully. No? Okay, we married up there. That's good. Now I need to be quiet for a moment and get an extra man's, or free guys, or life insurance as I've heard it called. That's a fun one. Do some jungly steps action there. Shout out to Pac-Mania, where you know, the sound in that maze is amazing, especially some of the, I really like the, well, I don't know if the NES port's pretty fun, but the music is really good. I can do some really tremendous scoring in that, some really great daisy chaining of some tech with the power-ups and that. I like that you have a little bit of diversity in how you can play that. Also, you can decide what round you start in, so it's really cool if you want to play for like just getting in the upper levels really fast. It's almost like a way to introduce the super speed. That's a really great RNG I was talking about, because now I can just freeze them, wait. I gave them a chance because, you know, it's a cool name, Stunner Cartoon. What would be a Stunner Cartoon? Samurai Jack, I guess, would be a stunner cartoon. Or is that a cartoon, or would that be like animation? I don't know, chat. Samurai Jack, it's on my backlog. Now I start thinking about how much Samurai Jack I actually have watched, which is not much, but I know that the style is really great. You lead them over there, then you run over here, and then you wish that hallway was open. Milk some time. You get use one of these speedy packs. That's basically an energy drink for a Pac-Man. You jump over here, and then you just milk the time. And you're like, woohoo! I just realized I don't have any form of chat pulled up, and I apologize if there's any questions going on. I've just been kind of dialed into the intro. But if you're just starting to hang out with this, this is me, Pop's dad, Brian from the Vid-Bits, and we're hanging out playing and defending our championship right now while we're going for the big title. It's like when you're in a division and everybody's got championships and everybody feels like theirs is just as important. Well, ours is the PlayStation one now. So let me just see if I can see if there's anybody in chat. To the next one. I think we're going to end on win 604 is the number. If you're looking for how far this stream is going to go this sesh, it's a couple pack snacks for us. That's stacking up a couple 18 wins. So if we started at, was it 369? So 31 is 400, and 4 more is not 400 but 600, and then 4 more is 604. So we'll end on 2 pack snacks or a snack pack, which is just a couple of those or 1 more. So, and then maybe talk a little bit just to kind of round it out, and that will be the sesh. I hope that you're enjoying hanging out with us so far, but I hope that also you have yourself a wonderful day. Focus on yourself a little bit of self-care, drink some water, do a little bit of meditation. If it's beautiful, or even if it's not beautiful in the area that you're in, try to find a way to get a little bit into the environment, whatever the way that is, however you want to integrate yourself into your actual physical environment. That's wonderful. Ground yourself a little bit. Touch terra, or put your feet in the ground. It's really fun when you can put your bare feet in the grass, and have a wonderful day. I can't wait until we can actually get outside and do a little bit of yard work. It's great to do some of that, get your hands dirty in the earth. I guess I kind of spend a lot of time pulling weeds. Is my thing as a childhood thing, where it was actually painful and frustrating, and then it kind of transmuted that feeling into a sense of accomplishment and meditation. But now I can't use my hands like that, so it's one of those things where I still would do that, but now I've oh my gosh, I'm actually committed to professionally making sure that my hands are protected. So it's funny. If I could have ever rationed that out to myself as a child, one day you'll tell them that they can't tell you to do yard work because you play video games professionally, I would have been that's a dream, guys, and you could do that too. You stop trying to worry about convincing your parents and stuff whether or not it's worth it. Just get yourself a prospectus. That's when you basically write it all down, and you can use us as an example. Please do. Say, hey, these are the Vid-Bits. Their metrics are they've been in YouTube for 2 years. They've started to actuate this type of plan where they basically take their gaming schedule and put it out there. And that's what it is. If I simplified it, we take our gaming schedules and put it out there, and we like the game. So that's what we do. And if you could do it full time, and we would, and our actual other job would be to make sure that we do stuff like go to the gym and stuff like that, stuff that we don't have the time to do now to also do this, because I also have to have a real job where I try to pay the bills doing communal servile work, and that's basically the easier way to say it. Now that I'm not appreciative, but I'd like my communal servile work to be that we provide this for you full time. So thank you for giving us an opportunity to do that, and also just realize that you can do it too. Don't overthink it, really. Just start to create the content. If you feel like your parents aren't supporting you and you have a PC, all you have to do is get a capture card and start just data banking the accomplishments that you do, recording them. And I think that they probably will not let you, refuse you to do that if they don't understand anything else. But a lot of these consoles that they've already let you have streaming capabilities where you can let the world see your accomplishments, or start to just try to do stuff of note. Practice some sort of game that can get you notability. I'm not doing this specifically with this game. It just kind of fell into place, and when I'm talked in media about it, I'll make sure that they understand that it organically came about because of how much I played this game obsessively as one of my casual games. It was the game that I want to beat 100,000 points in Pac-Man. If you do that and train up, you can do really well in a game like this. So hopefully you realize that you can do stuff like this too, but your game may be a specific niche arcade game where you can become, on the leaderboards. You don't have to become #1 in the world, but just start stacking up those little mini accomplishments. Maybe you look at the games that you play, and then you kind of subset really rare achievements within those games that you kind of poke yourself at, and that's a personal thing, that's a personal trophy that pops up, or a personal gamer score that you're working towards, and you create a guide to yourself. And then when you get all those metrics, those super rare things that you know that are big and huge, you database those, and that is your portfolio. That is how you sell yourself. So I hope that you realize you can do it too. We're doing it in real time, and I hope that you know that you can do it too. It's really hard. Sometimes I stumble my words because I'm passionate about it, and I hope that if anything else, when we continue to grow, you'll know that part of the outreach of the Vid-Bits is to make sure that you do everything that you can to be unauthentically and unapologetically you, and you judge nobody except yourself first and foremost. But you do care about other people and making things better than you left it, but you also know that at the end of the day, it's a personal journey, and when you're trying to lift each other up, it's going to be a better journey for all of us. So we rise together, we fall together. Drink water and be happy for everybody else's accomplishments, and stop hating on them, and you'll have a better day. So that's enough of that. Hey, DJ Irish Boy Windu. Appreciate seeing you in chat. I need to not pay attention to chat, unfortunately, again, until I clutch this dub, but when I do, I will be able to give you a little bit of time, and I appreciate you in chat. If I had a mod, he would have verbalized that question to me right now, but he's busy, and I'm not disrespecting that. He's got some stuff going on. When we get that situation where other people are able to know that dynamic's not always available in the situation, I guess I should have addressed it while I'm doing lives. I can only talk pretty much in between games, so I don't make mistakes. I'm not trying to ruin everything, but I want to make sure that you guys know that I'm actively trying to engage with the people that are following along. But thank you very much for hanging out for a little bit, and I'll get to you right after this dub. Ooh, that was fun. It's fun when you can travel with everybody, when we're all hanging out together. I'm waiting for that lower left area to unlock, and go to the upper left of that, and the RNG decided he wanted to hang out with us and give us a +1 when we hang out there too, so I'm going to let that float a little bit. And we'll bank that. That's more of an aggressive power-up. You want to use that power-up when you want to get in a maze with another person and, make the ghosts pursue them when you're in a tight situation, basically turn on pursuing you. I personally love the theme of this as far as like the season, but not necessarily how much it blends the white power pellets into the blue, so it's a little bit more challenging. So sometimes I only go in here out of necessity, but it's one of those neat ones that if it makes you a little bit uncomfortable and you can continue to learn and get through it, then you get a little bit of growth out of it, so it's kind of fun. But it's hard. It's a hard one. I think that people that would have this as their starting maze, they're able to pay a little bit more attention to detail than others, because it's the blending in and stuff. For me, I've chose the ones that make Pac-Man pop, and he pops here, but when everything else is distracting in an eyesore, it's a little bit difficult to get the dub on that. So especially when you may find yourself with a bunch of other packs in there, and then, oh boy, you're trying to make sure that you clean up that, and then, you get chomped by somebody else because you're focused on who's not getting that last power pellet because it's blending in with the background. So, but yeah, DJ, you're awesome for hanging out. I appreciate that. Gonna start another game. Like I said, our goal is to be 6:04 on the end of this stream, but ultimately the main goal is for us to get to the very top of the leaderboards. We have a little bit of competition ahead of us, but we're trying to leave the competition behind us, way behind us, but respectfully know that they are making moves, so we cannot slow down. Shout out to Eve, who's making moves right now. I can tell you're making moves live, and appreciate the grind. I'm not going to give too much time to some people right now. If you're not on the main page, that's the ones that we're focusing on during the session. Other than that, I will do like an intro sometimes, and right now I'm focusing on the top 10 people that are undefeated. So since we're on this page, the top people that are undefeated is, the top 3 is, Mr. Socrates at number 3, and we're riding number 2, and Kofi at number 1. drink our Pack Energy drink, or Speedy Pack. I'm having a little bit more fun getting some control of that. If you watched in our earlier climb, it was a little bit of a difficult climb for us with the use of the speedy power. We actually avoided it quite a bit because when you do Sparkster and you're hitting the rails and stuff and you hug them, it's slippery like that right there, especially when you're going fast. So when you're going super fast, it's even more slippery. And the way that it feels when you're using Sparkster to speed around the maze versus how Speedy Pack makes you feel, it's not the same, I don't believe. So I had to get used to calibrating how I was going to run a route based on which one I was picking up, if that makes sense. So to me, I think it's more important to get used to it and more practice. Maybe that's something that you train on in elimination, and you don't learn it when you're trying to maintain a crazy streak and compete against some really wonderful players and people that are putting in the time. Really risky business, I should say. There we go. And that maybe almost the universe, maybe we'll say when we make a very poetic point and it gives us a +1, it's like, yep, thumbs up, you're right. Stay in your own lane, blame yourself though for your mistakes. That's also, you have to hold yourself accountable. We'll call that the thing too. Like, you gotta hold yourself accountable. Like, if you do something that's dumb and you see the line, like, that might be dumb, but I kind of thought it wasn't. It was risky business. You switch around there and finish up the train of dots. And always sometimes my main, that at the end where it's kind of poetic there too, when I got the finish and clinched that at the end there, when you dip down, that's one of the recesses that sometimes plagues me when I try to get it. And that's, if you see me make mistakes statistically, it's in that dip. There's a couple places that are my, like, if somebody was able to do a hot take where they saw all the main times that I died, like after 1,000 matches or something, that's gonna be an area where I seem to die a lot, which is crazy because it's just basically that's where a miscalculation can happen for me the most. I'd always try not to overthink it. But if you're enjoying this so far, please show us appreciation by sharing, and subscribing to content. The reach is only possible through you. We are doing everything we can, making ourselves eligible for it. So if you think that it's worth your time and you're loving what you're seeing, it may take a little bit of effort to get to it, and sometimes your phone may lag and there may be circumstances that prevent you from doing it right away, and we appreciate all those things. But if you could just take the time to do it, it does help us get the reach out here, and hopefully we can get Vid-Bits out for everybody. We are, though. I mean, we are. We're getting it out for everybody, one day at a time. I love palindromes, so when we get stuff like 575, I'll snap a pic. It's fun. Numerology is fun sometimes. Zeros and ones. Circles and lines. Packs and mazes. And when you were playing on the Atari 2600, like square type circles and dashes for pellets. Good times, good times. If you've ever saw any of the animation that kind of happened between like the 90s and early 2000s, and probably even a little bit beyond, and also in animation, a lot of the public domain sounds from the Atari 2600 are very, obviously in there. And they like to use like some of the ones from like the jumping from Donkey Kong, and the dying noises, and like the pack noises from that wonderful Pac-Man. That was, unfortunately, I think it was done by Todd Fry. I might be misspeaking because it's a little bit early here, but I also heard that he didn't have a lot of time to do it, and respectfully did as much as they could. The ghosting was a little bit rough there. I mean, when I'm saying ghosting within ghosting, it's just the inability to keep all those images on there due to file size and all that back in the day. So there's a lot of flickering, and But when you're a child in the 80s and you're sitting alone with the glow of the screen and nobody's awake because you're up at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday morning and you're trying to get a little bit of time in before the Saturday morning cartoons, there was nothing like suffering through some of that. As well as stuff like Donkey Kong, but better stuff like Asteroids and Missile Command, Atlantis. One day I will do some of that stuff, but it will be on the Pops Plays channel. Excuse me. Because that's more niche stuff for pops and pops type stuff, and you know, if the younger generation wants to buy more than that, that's cool. But Vid-Bits is, you know, it's all about a lot of gaming, and there will be Atari stuff on here sometime, but it would have to be more because it's curated from viewers like you, and we do want to do the stuff you want to do, and I am passionate about Atari too, but you know, to me, there's so much more modern gaming that I'm trying to get on my backlog, and me personally, I've gone my personal journey. I've experienced that, and you know, sometimes you've gotten to the point where you have to move on, where it's not being productive for you as a gamer. So, you know, maybe in the comments below, since we got a little deep in the maze, we'll say, if I get a little bit deep in the maze, what kind of gaming situations, maybe genres or eras of gaming, maybe you played a lot obsessively even, and then you had to let it go. You had to move on. Maybe you have a little bit of sorrow towards it. You can have that discussion in the chat. Feel free to have that discussion amongst yourselves. It's not necessarily directed towards me. Maybe you have a little bit of a wax philosophical about it with your friends and stuff deal, where you don't know what to talk about because you're talking about the same stuff over and over again. You can be like, the Vid-Bits had a really thought-provoking question today on stream, and they wanted to know what games are we playing, guys. And maybe it's you guys are stuck in an online game and you can't stop playing it, but you're, you know, having FOMO about playing, all the way to you've played like the same RPG as your comfort one so many times that it's maybe not even hitting like the dopamine that you're looking for, so you need to move on. So, you know, lamenting it maybe even, but for me, it's got to be Atari, because a lot of the 2600 stuff I've just played obsessively. But then again, if I'm super in my nostalgia and I can find the right situation, there's nothing like grabbing a controller, a paddle controller, and, you know, knocking out some Kaboom, a great session of Kaboom, which is a wonderful Twitch game, and then, like, you know, or knowing that I can run run asteroids for a little bit of time and get some good time in there, or try to beat my mother's old score in Missile Command. You know, see, and in an era of gaming where it was all about the color of what screen you could get to, and being able to know my mom could get to the lime and green screen, so that was the bar, because she was really excellent at that game. Like, if my mother was alive right now, I think I would try to convince her to, you know, pick up the controller and show me what she could do with Missile Command, because she didn't know I knew how good she was, and she didn't see me peek down the stairs sometimes, because she was the type of gamer that couldn't handle the pressure of somebody, you know, looking over their shoulder. But that's also kind of a segue into the wonderful things that YouTube can provide for you, because you can do it, you know, even if you have to do it in that situation where you're alone in your room, you don't have the pressure of somebody sitting over your shoulder, and you don't have to engage super in chat if you have anxiety, but you can also just have chat open so people can know that you can start with a base statement you feel comfortable with, and know that they're just there to support you and be able to show you the love and adoration that you don't feel that you may have. So I love the fact that YouTube gives you an opportunity to do that as well. So we're going to take that screenshot of that 575, because like I said, I wanted it in perpetuity and prosperity of the moment. That neat palindrome 575. It's a crisp number. It makes us feel like, you know, good on the milestones that we hit, and we can also know when we're talking about stuff and annotations for the rise of like the victories, that we can say this round 575 is when we had a really good conversation about this or that, and it'll help me be able to pull back and look in the chat and catalog when you guys keep updating that. If you were commenting, you know, after the fact or whatever, it's good to know what you felt about it, and sometimes it may be the easiest way for us to get a reach or opinion about whether or not we got some sort of connection about a moment that we felt really connected to say to you. I don't know, guys, it's about time to change up the sushi theme. I don't really know what the metric is for that. I want to do it, but maybe I kind of want the community to have a say-so in it, as long as you know, unfortunately, what my options are as far as like palatability of the eye, so I don't get distracted when I know that that's the maze I'm being warped to on my own, because there's certain ones that I'm sure you'll all have preference to. I love this one kind of. It's I don't know. I think it's what the winter one wants to do and can't do right, because it's too bright, where it's got a little bit of a darker tone. So, and then the orange pellets are very good because it doesn't like marry in with the background. Plus, it's, you know, when we do the spooky theme in October, wherever this is, in case, you know, worst case scenario, everybody's still running with me, or best case scenario, we get that number one, and we can then start to move forward and just move on into the stratosphere with that score. You know, in October, we'll be definitely rocking that maze. You wonder why we're obsessed? We're Pac-Man, guys. We're unapologetically Pac-Man in a game where we also encourage everybody to be uniquely themselves. We don't discourage you guys from masking up and getting costumed up, gussied up, if you will, but we are Pac-Man. We've always been Pac-Man. We run the mazes as Pac-Man. You've got evidence of that, and hopefully Bandai Namco knows that we're repping Pac-Man even in their game when he is being repped by everybody else in some sort of weird capacity where they're masquerading as Pac-Man, pretending to be Pac-Pretenders. So we're just chomping our way. We've found out about this, and we've been too busy promoting our game, and now we have to defend our honor by catching up to everybody and taking the lead, because we are Pac-Man in Pac-Man, and it's awesome game, the Battle Royale, Chomp Champs. Mega Tunnel Battle, Chomp Champs. Because I got Pac-Man. I can't sing it, you know. If I could, I would. I would sing it. I would. You know, maybe the members only will get me singing and whiling out to some crazy Pac-Man, you know, jams. If that's the kind of stuff that you want to see. I do have Pac-Man fever, though. I can't deny it. I can't wait till I'm meeting the same people in the mazes. Like, you know, we're in a situation where we can, as a community, keep, you know, competing against each other. And it's like, oh, there's that guy. But, you know, right now we're staying in our lane and trying to get to number one before we, you know, I don't want to say taunt the community, but also people that within our community. I will say that anybody in the completely unnecessary tier of our membership will be able to, if they get in this game after we've reached number one, or if I can set it up, at least get in some sort of elimination lobby if you want to hang out. And it's just something I can say is an easy perk that I can give you, but I don't know how we're gonna figure that out exactly right now. It's something that I can't work out until I hit number one, but it will be a perk in the future that's tied to the highest tier of our membership to try to give you a value there. Also, you'll only get so many coin drops there, so it's not like you can provoke the situation to happen anytime, because obviously we're very tightly scheduled, so I want to make sure that we figure out the logistics. So, like, you know, every month you may get 3 coin drops, and that may entitle you to like, you know, maybe a little bit, a couple games or so. We'll figure it out, and it'll be something that I was, you know, saying that this is what we do on this specific time, and maybe like a little bit more of a stream that's like a mini programming block. Like, we have a couple of those too, where we're structuring smaller scheduled streams. We have rarity to our streams. I'll get into that later, or actually probably not at all in this specific time, because I gotta make sure that I get it so I can see it and make sure that you know that I'm consistently trying to say it, if you will, because it's a little bit early and hazy. But, you know, our epic streams are 8 hours or more, and then our legendary streams is when we time out at the 11:55. You know, we try not to do those all the time. You're only seeing them more frequently with the Vid-Bits because I'm conquesting for this feat, and it's required. But other than that, we usually try not to go super pushy all the time, so don't look for those necessarily all the time. But that's why they're epic and legendary. They're just happening right now because what's going on with the Vid-Bits is epic and legendary. So we're very happy to be able to provide feats and stuff like that for you. Like, I think when Bray sinks his teeth into Elden Ring back for the first time when he gets the first playthrough, that's going to definitely be, I feel it doesn't make sense for it to be anything other than epic. So that way, you can see him get all the emotion and raw emotion of just going through the first 8 hours of Elden Ring. I feel like, and then if the momentum carries him, then who knows that the first playthrough isn't legendary, so it's just like, you get ready for everything in there, and then you can start to do the stuff where you build the momentum and stuff like that. I don't want to put the pressure on him because I couldn't stack that at all. The pressure for me is watching him try to perform that game because it's very amazing to live vicariously through somebody. So thank you very much again. Sponsored, but want to be sponsored by Bandai Namco because of the experiences that you guys curate like that, where you can live vicariously. And you probably are living vicariously through me right now, where you're wondering why I can rattle off stuff with you about life and philosophy and all kinds of neat stuff while I'm, trying to take Pac-Man's dignity back. Everybody's gussied up and they got the #1 spot. And they also, if they don't have the #1 spot, then they's looking for it. They're trying to chomp their way to it. Ooh. Just know that even though that does supposedly give you some distance all the time, that there's a chance that you're going to pinch the distance so much that you force them into you. It's possible. There we go. So 586 will be the end of this pack snack. So that'll be the first 18, and then the other ones will end at 6:04, and that will be how we will wrap up this specific stream. So hopefully you can follow along and enjoy your time here. Reigning, defending, undisputed PlayStation Pac-Man Chomp Champ. Pac-Man is Chomp Champ. Pac-Man is Chomp Champ. Pac-Man is Chomp Champ. Bop, 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 bop. See, I can come up with this song, I guess. No. Oh, really? Then we both decided that we were going to go for it, and we both got I don't cower very often, but whew, that was funny. We both turned that corner and thought that the other person was going to get it, so we both ducked back out, and then I ducked back in first. That was very cool. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no, that's the disadvantage of being AI like that. They should have made the move, and they're gonna get me now. Nope, they should have made the move. That means it's a weaker AI, unfortunately, a weaker bot. Yep, you should have got me earlier, bub. You had the opportunity to do it, and then unfortunately, because you were not a real person or you were just scared, you did not do it. I missed the climb up in the beginning when like I had to do the pack inquisition a lot, where you basically just go into another person's maze and you junk it, where you take 3 of the 4 energizers when they're getting the first one, because they're so concentrated on their lane. So we stay in our lane, right? We know what we're gonna do. We're hungry. We're always still hungry, and we forget our manners, which, if you didn't know, is always the overflow of these sessions, where we kind of like wrap it up, get to a round number, check and see who else is, competing, give them some props to their moves. We're very much active in building the community for this game, so that's why I hope that you understand. Even, we'll talk about the logistics, but hopefully you understand Bandai Namco that I really want to be an ambassador for this brand. I'm the right side of history, as far as like you knowing about it too, more than the fact that I just word of mouth all the time talk about and gush about how much I love your games when it comes to some of the biggest things that I can accomplish as a gamer. And Pac-Man just happens to be some of the ones that are some of the biggest metrics I can hit, as far as like, technical achievements and stuff. And I'm definitely not the best in the world at everything. I never thought I'd be blessed that even for a small piece of Americana, be able to be the best in the world for a period of time, even multi-platform against everybody at this game. So we're only basically stretched by the limitations of our physical well-being, and I've been trying to make sure that when I'm doing these, as much as I want to just marathon my way to the top right away and just get it done, I'm trying to do it healthily and respectfully and to the other people, and not give some people too much attention and all that other stuff, and learning the navigations of trying to be professional at a public corporate sponsorship level. I have a lot of experience in business, as far as like listening to business and being respectful to that, as far as not disrupting the brand too much, and brand synergy and all that kind of stuff, based on being in social situations, training for a company that's publicly traded, and like a servile capacity and stuff like that. So social situations, and as an empath, I also am able to make really great human individual connections that really can grow the brand and stuff. As far as like, if you can give me like stuff to give away and stuff like that, I feel like I can try my best to put that in the right hand and stuff like that. So all those things. But we really appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity to play games like this, and the Soul series, and all the RPGs that I played over the years, and stuff that you've published and continue to publish and have in the pipeline, and will do for hopefully ever, because you guys are awesome and we love all the stuff that you do. Even the stuff that don't hit with us, I love the fact that it resonates with other people, and you can continue to do those things. So thank you very much. Not sponsored, but want to be sponsored by Bandai Namco. The Vid-Bits love you. And if you want to get at me about the technical aspect and the negative stuff, we don't have time for that. Every game has technical problems. Everything doesn't hit at, some things at different metrics and stuff, and we all get stinkers and clunkers, and everybody has to deal with that. But the deal is how you dust yourself off, and how you roll through life, pack your way through life, and just and it doesn't really matter. Those things don't matter. Focusing on negativity is not going to get us number one. It's going to get us sunk, so we got to get there. Ooh, rare plug. That was a rare plug. We don't get Chomp too often, fellows. We're gonna chomp him back. We're gonna be vindictive. Are we? We have to be. I was merciful a couple of games on the climb up because I liked their name and it was a real people's, and it really got me very close to being defeated for the first time. So I learned, unfortunately, I don't always agree with the Cobra Kai mentality of mercy is for the weak, but yeah, unfortunately it showed me that because it doesn't always apply. But there's times in that situation, if you're trying to hit a certain thing, like not losing a match, of course you can't be merciful. That's the allegory for like those sitcoms and movies where at the end they stop fighting and then they share the victory. Unfortunately for our fellows ahead of us in the leaderboard, our stamina is mighty and we are going to claim the throne. And you know, in this specific game, sit there and, you know, rule Pac-Land, and you know, I can't share it with anybody. I have to, you know, ascend to it because everybody else is gussied up as different characters, while Pac-Man has found out that while he's on his PR run, he's back to claim the top from whoever is on top at the time, which looks like, you know, we're not trying to give him too much attention because I don't know him personally, but we're trying to get the #1 spot now. It was ascending it, and now we're on top of the splash page, so we're very clearly seeing what our goal is every time we load in. We can then see how everybody else is moving, and we're making our moves according to that, with the ebbs and flows and the ups and... Like, I don't know what that was. That was not fun. In a game where I have to be able to switch on a dime, like, I hope it was, whew, that was a little close. So about 7 more dubs, and then that will be this pack snack, and then we'll do one more, and that will be the session. We'll end on 604. We won't check see if anybody else has moved until we end this pack snack, so it can kind of have like a little mini conclusion for that 90 minutes or a little bit overflow. That will probably be the, let's see, probably around then that'll be the still hungry and forgot our manners portion of that pack snack as we move on to the next one. But we'll do one more, like I said, and end at 604. So it's been a pleasure so far hanging out with you on a Saturday, and this has been the Vid-Bits. It's Brian hanging out as Pac-Man in his new game, Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs by Bandai Namco. I'd like to take the time to remind you to hydrate yourself. Just grab a little bit of liquid refreshment. I'm currently enjoying some water. That was not fun. I should not have done that. We're lucky that they don't do an overflow, and if I was to do an upgrade to this game, and I was to like, you know, things I think that they could do to evolve it even more and make it more difficult would be to do stuff like let a ghost from another maze, leave that, and then instantly be replicated back into, you know, so like say, you know, Clive is following me, and we go in, I'm going out the gate into another maze. He could follow me there, and like he would just still be in the other, you know, split off and still be in the other maze, so that person doesn't lose any of the, you know, amount of ghosts in there or whatever, or the having to, you know, think about 4 separate ghosts focusing on your online connectivity because you don't want to, you know, have an issue because of disconnect, and that's the reason why you have a blight on your record. But I also have everything streaming, so I don't know. It's doing it again. Making me a bit nervous. Because it's gonna have to get that, you know, as fast as possible into the situation where it's not gonna be an L if it's staggering like this for the session or whatever. But then again, we've also said publicly if we just get disconnected and that's why we have our first loss, then hopefully everybody is understanding that that's why the blight's there. But if not, we give 100% effort to try to do the best we can to maintain now working towards the #1, so we can add that accolade, the #1 undefeated Pac-Man player here soon. So we're climbing against that too. It's a separate. There's goals within goals. If there's any labels within labels, it's the personal ones that we're using to motivate ourselves, because if not, you know, other people would lose motivation, but, you know, we're clearly motivated. Not only that, but we're motivated, and this is a perfect time to segue into Game of Day May. We are motivated in the month of May to showcase a different game every day in the month of May. That's our passion project. That's one of the only ones I'll plug here in this this pack snack. It's something I think that me and Braden are putting our heart and our soul into, which is what that reach is for that project. So I'll just leave it there. You'll see an episode of that today if you're hanging out with us. So I highly encourage you to check that out, and then maybe the halo effect is after you check that out, you want to check out more of those, and we have a whole other season of that as well. And if you're more of a low to 5 person and you've watched a lot of this with commentary, that entire season has no commentary, so you can just sit back and watch some good gameplay while we fight against streaming issues, which maybe that's why I also got segued into it, because it was being a little bit laggy at the moment. No excuses here. Still picked up the dub, learned a little bit about ourselves, and picked up win 580. The Bob Rosses, if you will, of YouTube, where you're just being philosophical about it. Like, maybe this is an allegory for this. Maybe I'm on a tangent for that. Like, yeah, we're about that too. Why? The pack why? Hi Matthew, what up? The creator of the idea that Smokey needed his own emoji, and now we can do one of these jives. I'm not gonna plug that. If you ask about it, actually, what is that they say? If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Nether Smokey. Yeah. Smokey's in chat. Smokey's in chat. Smokey's in chat. What? Smokey's in chat. What? Smokey's in chat. Yeah, it's all because of Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. He said that Smokey needed to be repped and it was actuated. That's the type of reach that we have here, you know, in the small ability. So when everything grows and flourishes and, you know, the flame is fanned, if you will, you're going to see a lot more cool stuff like that as far as community outreach. And I hope that you guys engage with each other more too. We encourage you to engage with us, but man, it's all about building a community. So we have a community Discord for that, and there's sometimes the links may be down, but we're still getting there, guys. So, you know, under construction always currently as we move along in this YouTube journey, because we're only on year 2, but man, wait until you see how professionally produced it'll be by year 7, and when you'll be like, man, the growing pains were worth it. We all learned something. We all felt better about ourselves, and you know, they settled down a little bit and is just married into this wonderful programming block that doesn't feel like a work. It just feels like an effort to continue to preserve video game culture, but also, be like your source of news and raw gameplay and feelings about games and all that good stuff. But also incorporated with sponsorships that we feel are natural to our brand as well, and are a good merriment, so that when we get the reach that we want, that we can get their reach out and get them more exposure too, because unfortunately sometimes there's bad public misconceptions, and we're always happy to have healthy discussions about those things because we're all mature adults, and that's what it is. And even if we're in our brains mature kids, then those kids that are we're not for kids content, we're made for, we don't label that way because sometimes we get a little savory, but when children have their opinion about the content too that happen to be watching it, like they'll be in chat, so like they're anonymously heard, so those things are to be said, that if I was a child and I was watching the content, and our parents a lot of times don't really have much of a control of what we do when they watch the content. If they happen to be seeing us, we try to be wholesome as possible. The unsavoriness is never supposed to be negative as far as like promoting anything other than self-growth and love and care and stuff, but sometimes we get because we're guys, right, so we get super happy about something, so we start talking about something, or if we're passionate about a specific game company and they've done something that the community's not happy about, unfortunately we're rawly going to react to that. So we're learning as people as well, but when you're in a situation where you're an influencer and we're trying our best to curate that, where we're not basically making certain people that upset and stuff, we're all learning from that too. So but when it's somebody that's say 12 or 13 that's deciding that they want to do this their entire lives, like how Braden was when he first we started talking about it together and not just individually thinking about it. It was like 12 or so he was still trying to think about figuring it out on his own. So those people, when they're in these chats and stuff, watching how we're executing it, from knowing that he grew from a 12-year-old to an 18-year-old and all that, and we started this journey when he was around 16 together. So it's important for us to be able to say your voice is heard too when you're watching this content. What do people from your demo want to see from it? Because we're trying to also not label to your demo, because of monetization we can't label it monetized for kids, but we also don't try to say stuff that we don't believe that you should hear at your age, is if you don't have the proper people saying it to you, hydrate yourself and think about trying to do stuff that you dream about, because I'm not sure if that happens as much as it happened necessarily when I was a child. So there we go. It didn't refresh that. I need to back out then for sure. That's when I need to realize that when it's a match, and I was doing that kind of naturally, that when it was a match and it didn't refresh my win, I backed out and refreshed it. But let me make sure I don't have any other games open, because we've been doing other projects and unfortunately the multi-launcher could be on. Let me make sure that I'm not okay, I'm off on the Wi-Fi there. That's good. But I'm just trying to make sure that we don't have an experience that's going to be memorable for the wrong reasons. That's what we'll say there. Bray is he's doing technical work. He's in the office, so to speak, producing and getting things ready for the rest of the streaming schedule after Pac-Man today. Pac-Man's all over the schedule, so he's making sure to also marry our projects right now as while we're trying to curate this experience and stuff live for you guys. So I'll close that. And then I'll go back into it. Bandai Namco. Amber. Play with fire. There we go. Yeah, okay, that way also I can get 5 more and then close out the specific pack snack of this snack pack, which we call, a double pack snack, which is an 18 game win, or about a 90-minute session. We're going to do 2 of these in this stream, which pushed us, and the first one will push us to, I think it was 5, let's see, it was 18 and we started, maybe my math is a little bit off. I think my math is a little bit off, fellows. They started at 69. So 17 would be it, really. So 17. Next time I do this, I'll make sure I produce it in a way where I have it written down so I don't trip over my math. But we started at 69, 569. 11 is 80. This is, you get to watch me trip over my math here. So 11 is 80. 18, or 8 more, so that's 7 on that, 80. So it's 87. So 587 will be the end of this pack snack, and then 605. So I'm sorry that I've been rallying, and luckily for me, there's not been people in chat calling me out on it, so that's kind of funny. So 587 for the first 18 win section of this stream, and then 605. But I do encourage, if you're playing this game and you're trying to maintain an undefeated streak, that you refresh when you don't see that your win tabulates, because you don't want a situation where you know that you're not buffering or something's not going on right. And like, I was lagging a couple times where my inputs weren't correlating with what I was moving. I think I read some people talking about that happening, but they said that was also in a situation where server instability was more of an issue. So hopefully we don't run into any more of that. RNG's been taking really good care of us, because we've been being thankful, blessed, and appreciative of this whole thing, and we continue to be. So thank you for joining us as we continue to try to dominate and ultimately become first place in the U.S. Eastern Division, and also basically the #1 Chomp champ overall in the global leaderboard. Eva's playing right now, I can definitely tell, because you can see that they're making moves. I just am not trying to add people as friends and stuff right now until I hit my personal goal. It's not anything that I'm afraid of competition. Once we get the goal, then we will reach out to these people and see if we can get in some games and some elimination and stuff like that, and make sure that we're building the community, because we're the top players in the game, and also hopefully an inspiration to other people that want to try to get good at the game, and we can get to the point where we're in lobbies together and filled with a bunch of people that are really competitive, and see all kinds of pack carnage and pack chaos, and it'll be spectacular. Birdie hydrant, birdie hydrant. If I do. Don't mind if I do. Uh-oh. Well. Don't mind if I do. Come here, birdie. Okay, fine. Fine. Fine, you can hang out and take, hang out in your junked maze. No energizers. Do. Oh, that was oh. See, I think there'll be people that wonder why it looks like I just give up and I just juggle there, and it's because if I know that the laydown is I made a wrong move, or if I juggle in a gap, there's a chance that they're going to change their direction, and there's a chance they're going to change their direction. Some of them are not super, pressuring you, or sweaty, if you will. Some of them are not super sweaty. But it also depends on how much you've advanced your maze or racked your maze, because if you've gone up and racked a lot of maze and got to a higher fruit target, then the Ghost AI will always be more pressuring you as you continue to eat energizers and tick them off. yeah, it definitely feels better than it did when I don't know. So if you have any doubt, remove all doubt, as Randy Santel says when he goes for his food challenges and is finishing up his plate. Remove all doubt, and basically refresh your connection so that you don't have to blame yourself if, or you know, if something bad goes with that. Like, things happen, random things happen that you can't control. So you just try to stay positive and enjoy the moment. Just try to be a beacon of hope and positivity for the cause, and just, you know, realize that at the end of the day, you can get chomped as long as you chomp right back and you keep on chomping. Keep on chomping. 5 more to go after I've corrected my math. My random insert school and area math. You know, when you blame your own local math system for your math being poor, so insert random your personal joke in your personal circle here. So yeah, 5 more for this specific deal, and then we'll go on to the other pack snack of this snack pack, which is just a couple 18 section wins, which usually takes, if you go right through, about 8 hour and a half. So that's why, if you wonder if we keep talking about it like that and branding it like that, it's so that you can just enjoy these in 90-minute increments when we can do the supercuts and all that other stuff. And therefore, you know, follow the journey as we went to the road to the top, because it's also an allegory for life. I felt like something happened along the way that became that. When we had a voice, and lots of times in this, since I would have been doing this by myself, I was just waxing intellectual. So there's times that some parts of these are crazy, talking about, you know, life and stuff and life experiences, and using this as, you know, metaphor for life, and I don't regret any of that. But we're just now that we've got the view in front of us and the goal is clear, we have to also make sure that we can keep a clear head, so we're gotten all that stuff riddled out for the most part. Not saying that we might not dip into a, you know, like he's got his eyes closed, a little bit of, you know, thought now and then, but, you know, I'd like you guys to start being able to provoke conversation and chat amongst yourselves, so that when I see you talking about stuff, I can, you know, chime in based on what you guys are saying in between games and stuff, and that's kind of would be cool too. It provides me to not always have to gab the whole time too. So, but I don't want you to feel like you're not entertained. Besides my magnificent pack play as Pac-Man in this new battle royale from Bandai Namco. Some of my most respected YouTubers just quietly and respectfully watch the screen as they're doing play, and that's enough, and we'll eventually get to the point where we could do that. But I'm so making sure that the reach is, you know, taken advantage of, and also that we, you know, do, at this point, I'm very openly gushing about how much I appreciate Bandai Namco and stuff about that too. So it's important that you realize that we're not always going to be like this. We have other series. That's a shameless plug to talk about stuff like Dave the Diver, an amazing adventure where we're going into the deep blue hole and serving up sushi every night when we do those playthroughs. And there'll be one of those from me later today. I have to break the monotony of when I do my individual stuff always being Pac-Man. So basically you'll have a Braze sesh, then basically we'll do a Game of Day May episode, then you will have in the programming block a episode of Dave the Diver, and then followed up by, unless something crazy happens where we do another thing with me and Bray, we'll close the programming day with a nightcap of some more Pac-Man Chomp champs, as I continue to try to close the gap and not give anybody any leeway, and that way we can get to number 1, get the push through number 1 as far as we can, and then you know, not put that puppy to bed, but then be able to see how we can just have little sessions here and there to defend the title, because we're always popping with other things here on the Vid-Bits too, and I don't want you to feel like it's just all this. It's just right now, I mean, we can't slow down, guys. We want to be number 1, and we see people like Eve making moves. They're continuously making moves, so they're not slowing down. I thought too much about it, guys. I got on my feels. People making moves. If people were slowing down, I'd be like, okay, I can slow down too, but no. And speaking of not slowing down, let's get this pack energy drink. Oh no. Oh no, fellows. I need to get out of this maze. My home maze is not working out for me. And if that's the case, then you leave your home, but oh my god, they perished in the other maze and we survived anyway. See, there's some drama like that. How can you have drama in a Pac-Man game? You can have drama like that. Save the drama for Pac-Man's mama. And you know, I just gave you the itinerary for the day, but if you want super cool inside information, like perhaps a clip, a picture of the itinerary handwritten that we look at when we're looking at it for the day and stuff like that, so that you can follow the day and know how you're going to plan your day around what we're doing, those type of perks are available in our membership tiers, and I hope that you enjoy that, because then you can go through the community posts that will be directed just towards you, and you'll know specifically, instead of, you know, hopefully hopping on a specific stream where we let you know those things where we pull back the curtain, and it's like the little secret sauces and stuff like that. And then you can talk in the Discord, and it's almost like you can talk about, you know, what you think you can't wait to see, or not necessarily influence the content before we produce it, but, you know, really feel like you're in on the inner floor of that. And I think it's cool that will be a subset of people that can discuss. So right now we're talking as if we hope that you guys start to integrate talking to each other about stuff more, so please feel free to do that as a community, and we're happy that you guys are here. I don't know, I did that. really, I mean, that is the power up that makes it feel most like Championship Edition. Not that you're trying to, you know, bring too much attention to yourself here when you're bringing them to you with the shield, but it really doesn't break. I mean, they'll push it through you before it'll break. Nope. No thank you. That's what we'll call that. You loop around one pole and you leave like, nope. We'll call it like, nope. Or as Lana would say, nope, 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 nope. Jeez. Two more pellets here in this pack snack, and then we will move on to the second half of this stream and do another rack of 18 to end on 6:05. Hopefully you're enjoying your Saturday, and it's Brian from the Vid-Bits, and we're hanging out playing some Pac-Man, being the Chomp champ of the PlayStation, and hopefully you're enjoying yourselves, seeing us travel, trying to be #1 when we inevitably will reach the top of the global leaderboards in this game. Alright, one more and that'll be the end of that pack snack. One more pellet here, one more energizer. I guess the last one will be an energizer. And we'll do one more sweep of the tunnel for this first half of the stream, and then we'll do one more rack of 18, one more pack snack, and we'll call it a session. Then we have so much more programming to offer you today, so hopefully you're having a wonderful day and you're ready to ride that out with us as you see fit. You know, I enjoy when you guys stop through multiple times throughout the different streams that we do, and then we can talk about the other streams that you were in. That's kind of like the community building, and also you being able to chat pretty much while you're watching a programming block, which is what we kind of strive to do here, and hopefully you enjoy it. You slide dog you, and that's my fault for not panning out. Like, I could have done that. I feel like sometimes when I do this, it just distracts me too much. Because then when you see you holding it in to stay panned out like that, which is a strat, you could definitely do that. I had a game where I did really poorly by holding it in the whole time. I mean, it really does give you the ability to see all of your options, though. You just have to hold it back in after you do it again. So yeah, that's why you don't do that. I love when me and Pinky race the corner like that. No. There we go. Alright. So that will be the end of the first half of this stream. It's the first pack snack. Let's go ahead and look and see what we did here as far as like wins. I think that I don't remember if we had a second place or something weird at the beginning because it was kind of early. And just want to make sure I got a good set off on the intro and the pace of the stream, so I could dictate a good tone and pace. So that's where we are as far as like dubs and stuff. I think it's almost every one of them has been a dub. We have a massive streak that you can see in there somewhere. We're trying not to put too much attention to it because we're moving past that and just worried about closing the gap and not wasting a lot of time. But for the people that are invested, would like to give you the recap for this pack snack. We got some more ground, and also basically it's an opportunity to see how other people are moving. You know, Daddy spent some time, so maybe they're feeling some fatigue. Kofi spent some time, and you know, they've been slowing down a little bit. so that maybe they're just letting me catch up a little bit. I'm now a couple wins away from a whole 100 over my closest rival on the PlayStation platform, so we're trying to leave them in the dust. So shout out to Socrates for holding down the spot and keeping it warm for us, but we're not really going to give up the chair anytime soon, and hopefully never. We will be able to find a way to keep pace, and you have to put in the time. So once we get such a large gap of the lead, we can just put in a pack snack or two a day on the Pops Plays channel in the future. When so far that the throne is hot and we don't want to let anybody else have it. Or maybe we'll be in a situation where they'll reset the servers after a season, and then we'll be starting on even ground. And I welcome that when that happens, if that happens too, because it is what it is. And I just want to show everybody that because this game is balanced, where the rating is dictated on the quality of your play, and not necessarily that you just got a dub, then really the true cream will rise to the top. And I welcome the ability to compete in that level. I feel like that I'm doing that now and representing Pac-Man well. We're the only person rocking Pac-Man in the classic skin in a game where it's all about getting gussied up and dolled up, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we're awesomely, unapologetically, and authentically Pac-Man and trying to take our spot back as the #1 Chomp champ. And this is the standing so far. We are the second place in the U.S. Eastern Division and #1 on the PlayStation platform, trying to close the gap between the king over here, and then basically P-Man is doing some justice to himself getting up there, but then I can see he declined a little bit to play, so you can see there fault. I usually am not going to scroll down past the splash page on the outro. You'll see some sort of like props on the intro. I'll probably refresh that props too on the next pack snack. So, but then that puts us second locally. Then globally, we then of course are third place, still obviously #1 on the PlayStation platform overall, trying to take the spots. So hope that you've enjoyed the first half of this, and then we're going to go now in the second half, the second pack snack of this snack pack. Trying to get another 18 wins and ending up on 605. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the journey as we try to become #1 and inevitably become #1 Chomp champ of this game. It's Brian from the Vid-Bits, so hopefully you're hanging out and enjoying the day and enjoying your Saturday. So let's continue chomping in another pack snack of this super-sized deal we call a snack pack, which is 2 or more of these 18 win sessions of Pac-Man Chomp champs. So let's see here. We'll go back out, and like I said, I kind of thought I'd give the update on the top 10 undefeated, and I think that if anything else, I did that last time. So this time we're just going to see in the top 20 if anybody's really made any moves. Well, Zero Stratus looks like they're kind of even now with Daddy Mark, and I don't believe that was the case. So that's kind of cool. Toy Hunter is about to try to kick 300 wins down. That's pretty cool. We've got a couple people that are about there at the 20K mark as far as ratings go. Insanity Drew is the name that's constantly in the conversation, and as long as you see that the rank is moving up, that means they're playing and they're not declining to play, or somebody hasn't overtaken them per se. Then we got P-Man, 454, trying to hit that 300th win. Oh wait, okay, that's a sub trio. No, did one of our trios of undefeateds lose an undefeated? I think, fellows, since we looked at no, because let's see it. I think so. So there's the first trio. Yep. P-Man took a loss, guys. Wow. That's big news. That's a big deal when you're following along with us in the journey and everything. P-Man took a loss in his quest to stay undefeated, and man, I feel some sort of sorrow for you, bud, because I understand the looming fear of that happening. Bray P-Man took that loss, but I just featured him as a trio that were undefeated, and they were rivaling against each other. And yes, in the course of this stream,
you mentioned P-Man being undefeated before the 300
Yeah, I know.
He must be pissed.
Oh my gosh.
His name's P-Man is in like Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, yes.
Yeah, that guy must not be.
I tip my cap to you, P-Man. I literally took my hat off.
Salute P-Man. A little moment.
Seriously.
Actually, this is a quick moment of silence on the leaderboards for
anybody that's
P-Man.
going for those big milestones undefeated. Know it could happen at any given time. So this is for P-Man.
Chief broke the moment of silence.
He did. He totally did, guys.
Chief literally broke the
totally
moment of
did.
silence.
Oh man, Chief. I know you feel for P-Man.
But Chief, we were having a moment of silence. Okay. Would you like to go outside? Okay.
Alright, guys. With that being said, that is a good start off and a good jump off point to start this pack snack, and the second half of this session are like another 18 racks, so you know we'll end up somewhere doing math adjusted around 3 hours and 15 or 3:30 total for the stream, depending on if we do an overflow like discussion, but you know that'll be the max time for this specific stream of the program block, just to keep it even for you guys. So appreciate you hanging along, and we're gonna go ahead and start chomping along, trying to get to 6:05 for this part of the stream. So Chief was very vocal about that. He felt the energy that was the sorrow that we were thinking about how it would feel to be, you know, that close to that milestone. And unfortunately, just, wow, it was so close.
You almost want to message him and be like, I'm so sorry to hear about that loss.
Yeah, but that would be patronizing, yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely trying to reevaluate whether or not he's even going to keep going on. I really feel, you know, at that point, because like I felt the need to feature the people that were the top 10, and I don't know, I'm sorry if like out there that put the pressure on you, P-Man, and then that happened in the course live of the stream, but you don't have us as a friends list added, so we're, or, you know, have us added on the friends list or anything, so we're not like feeling like we're like stalking each other. I was just trying to give you some props that you were competing of a trio of undefeated people. Oh noes. I also kept saying that we are the only one that is authentically and unapologetically Pac-Man, so I did put those vibes out there that we were the #1 regular Pac-Man, and if he's being P-Man is in Pac-Man, I guess he had to be humbled by the king, by the king's energy.
Damn.
I'm sorry, I keep saying it because that's it. We're gonna be on the top of the pack throne and, you know, ruling this game as the Chomp champ. Everybody out while we're doing the PR, and you see Pac-Man doing PR, and they're out there running the mazes in these crazy costumes, trying to be #1, and we're like coming back to claim the throne. That's the story here. I saw some really cool Pac-Man branded socks that they have you know, he said he would take 20 of them. Got that on my socials, just kind of trying to get that out there. I love themed socks. I just can't ever keep the two of them together. It's like it becomes like
yeah, that's my problem. I never can keep. I need to keep like all one type of socks so I can mix and match after I've broke the pack, and I don't know. Like you said, I can't keep pairs of socks together to save my life.
But even much so, like the graphic socks where it's like two cool things. So like then if those become mismatched, then you like have like one anime sock and one like gamer type like video game sock, and then you're just, you know, your own unique style because of the mismatch.
What's up, Panther? How you doing?
Yeah, Panther hanging out for the other pack snack of this snack pack, the other half of this stream. It's good to have you.
Part 1 and 2. Defending Dad's title as #1 PlayStation player in the world at Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs. Dropping the little Chiefs in the chat in honor of Chief breaking the moment of silence for P-Man.
Jeez, he did. I promise you that was his own feels about it, man. It's not like we look at him like, okay, Chief, bark for the camera.
Literally, he's just standing there. He just wanted to go outside.
He did want to go outside.
That
it was
probably
good. It was synchronicity to the moment.
Yeah, it happened to be that time.
Yeah, for sure.
Our neighbors have been they've had their extended family over, and Chief is literally out there just like watching, and because they'll come over to the fence and they'll pet him and they'll give him attention, and there's probably little kids there who may sneak him some sort of hot dog or hamburger during the whole event, and that might be why he knows that he can be outside.
Well, he does that stuff
kind of
here when he's doing like the searching for the ghost of food phase, where we've all got done eating and he's going around to see what scraps at any location where food could have been either eaten or created or thrown away and not hit the garbage can. He's very much like goes into scavenger mode. He's well fed every day, guys, with a decent dog food, so he's not neglected at all. He just, once he found out how tasties were, he's just, oh, the right king, eh? Oh, the right king, and he just decided that he was going to try to come at that line of ghosts, and they got energized.
Be the wrong king.
It didn't work out for us. And like, look at that nice line that we got, followed by a picking up a Dazer power up.
Winnie says, I only keep track of the fun socks. I got ones with puns like sick beats with a beat that has headphones.
That is so sweet. I love that. I love puns because I'm an
Dad
80s kid.
Dad loves puns. He's that kind of guy.
It's because I'm an 80s kid at this point, so when I morphed into a dad, I'm not just because I'm an 80s kid, but because of the era of like sitcoms and stuff that I watched.
You were waiting to be
comedy.
You were like born to be a dad.
Yeah.
Like you were literally like born to make dad jokes and have dad humor.
Yeah, I probably liked it more, like way more than I should have at my age, because it was, I guess, safe on the tubes. There was only a couple channels, so like the comedy that got over had to be really clean and
oh my gosh!
non-blue.
Speaking of the tubes, I've been trying to explain to my grandma what YouTube is. My great grandmother doesn't exactly know what YouTube is. I just explained it to her like it's a TV channel, kind of like it's like a show that runs, and you guys know when to kind of vaguely tune in, and like, you know, you watch us have. I also explained it to her like
nice, thank you for that.
Kind of like sports commentary in a way, because that's the only thing that I could really find that was relatable to her.
Right.
Where it was like, you know, sometimes we're giving like play-by-plays,
or like Bob Vila's This Old House, where they're teaching you how to do something in real time.
Yeah,
talking to
guides.
You
that was the other.
I guess I should have told that because that's PBS. You probably would have got that.
Right. That was the other thing I was explaining, was guides, like teaching people how to do things with, like, you know, whether that be in our video games or like with our, you know, there was tech videos.
Or maybe if we said consumer reports as well, she would understand that.
Sometimes just reviewing a product when it comes out to, like,
don't waste your money. If you said that, because we have you know, there's always that local news station that has like that report that says don't waste your money, that type of thing. You know?
Yeah, literally. I totally agree with that. You just don't want to buy a game that you like. I don't know. I want to give like a general perspective on something to the point where it like me telling you my thoughts is gonna allow you to use your own perspective to determine whether this is gonna be worth it for you in the long run.
Yeah, because we don't want you to waste your money, and if we wasted ours, we don't want you to waste it either.
And sometimes because we wasted our money on this product doesn't mean it's a waste of money for you.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's gonna be good for you and not good for us.
Right, because we love
gaming is just so subjective.
But like we love Bandai Namco, but every experience isn't curated.
And not every
us, you know?
like my Dark Souls streams, right? Not to plug, you know, the Dark Souls streams, but not everyone is gonna be able to play Dark Souls, and not everyone's gonna want to watch Dark Souls.
Right.
So like,
but they have so many experiences for other people and other types of gamers.
Oh, there's such a especially like a company like Bandai Namco, there's such a varied experience from casual to competitive, and
they're catering to so many different types of gamer.
Right.
Even if you're the type of gamer that just got a game because you watched an anime and then you got the game because you
there are
a
lot of anime licensed games
really
through
cool.
Bandai Namco.
Really cool.
I think that's more the Bandai side, right?
Right. And that's why the synergy works well. That's why sometimes I lead it by saying Namco first, because they were the gaming division first, while Bandai was more the Power Rangers.
But Bandai has made such a large soiree into
the combination. I don't think that any one of them gets. You know, I don't want it to be like where we think that
nowadays it really is synonymous. Whereas it took a lot of time for people to like build brand association.
Right.
But that's something, like you said, that's a partnership that just made sense.
It does.
And it
organically came out. That's why we're not feeling like we're shills for it, because you can see that we're clearly doing the content.
Multifaceted. Any anime video game that you enjoy. I have not spent a whole lot of time diving into anime video games, because sometimes they have certain systems that aren't my favorite. Like, for example, and this is just my own personal take, some of the Dragon Ball games have like this rotating circular combat system where I don't really feel like.
Yeah, the loading screen music does hit hard.
I don't feel super I don't know. I don't feel super compelled to like. I don't like the gameplay loop, and that's nothing against the property or the people who do enjoy those games. But they're just not work. So maybe they'll start.
I don't like this at all. I want to make sure that I just get through this game and then refresh the system and see.
I would just refresh the game after this. Close the game out.
Yeah. Wow. Oh no.
No. I think anime fighting games are definitely where it's at. I feel like I've played more fighting games. Like, I like personally like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter style fighting games. What's that? Is that two-dimensional like side by side fighting games versus like a three-dimensional rotating fighting game? But at the same time, it's really based off the IP that you're playing and whatever you're most interested in. The visually, it's kind of like we were talking about with beat 'em ups, where it's like only as good as whatever it's based on.
Right.
So if you're really big into whatever it's based on, you're gonna love it. And that's because it's made and tailored for fans like you.
Man, this could
Get out of there.
This could be really what P-Man dealt with.
It's like the AI, like the ghosts have gotten better.
They have.
That's what I've noticed is the ghosts have gotten more competitive and more. But maybe it means that at Chomp Champ level they're just going to start being more competitive.
And I'm fine with that. I don't want it to feel like it's a mindless grind. I need it to be more competitive. Honestly, I do. It makes me get better. I don't want it to get to the point where I can't get better. And as cocky as that is, even at the upper tiers of play, you want to be able to get better.
Right, I agree.
Man,
Absolutely.
Though, that was something. Like we're safe now, but there was this point where if we would have kept going, we could have just got beefed like.
There's
P-Man.
a one coming your way.
Yeah, I get it.
Will that come from the other side?
No, it stays over there. But like I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know the path and what's coming towards it. So usually, unless I do a widescreen and I don't want to risk it. Wow, though, guys, that you saw that we had this start without getting to get our rep on PlayStation, and then on top of it,
that was good. You ate the ghost and the final guy for the win. That was climactic.
Man,
Dad said, he's gonna quickly reset the game.
Wow, that was crazy.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the support. If it weren't for fans like you, Dad doesn't really know if he'd be in the position where he'd feel compelled or even motivated enough.
I would
to
still
do
be
this.
going for it super casually.
But you wouldn't be number one. You wouldn't be number one PlayStation player in the world.
No,
if it weren't for
not right now. No, and I
would have taken.
No,
so
see, I wouldn't
more.
have because I was saying very passionately that if I didn't start when I did, I don't think I could have caught up to somebody else that was doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't have had the time, and we would have been. It's the right place and the right time, guys.
Yeah, sometimes you should just trust your gut.
Yes.
There's a reason why people say trust your gut.
Yes, absolutely. Your gut's hungry, and it's going to tell you how to feed it. So.
All right, let's see if there are some new
there's a chance that
server changes or maintenance possibly. Sometimes I can't wait for that. Not can't wait, but unfortunately I know there's going to be a time where these servers are going to be down for extended maintenance, and Dad's going to be mad.
Well, that means everybody's down then, and I'm okay with that because then we could definitely not.
Right.
We all can take a rest, but right now, right now
you're competing with those two other guys who are at the top.
Yep, and
you and those two, like, you're literally trying to make your way from number one PlayStation player in the world to number one player in the world, period.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I know that we did the first pack snack, but if this, for some reason, stream stability issues are consistent, then they will instantly turn into a still hungry and forgot your manners, and we'll call it, because I don't want to risk the streak because of server stability, because they are like maybe trying to live dial it in the patch, and I'm okay with that too, because they're also trying to not make it so that the game that just came out is down.
I just hope they're taking some of your input seriously when it comes to like things you're saying on stream and how you feel about it. Like,
I hope so. I'm putting in the time.
Kofi's hasn't moved.
That's good that we're still rep by PlayStation. Like, I didn't know if that was going to be the case where it was going to, like, all of a sudden all the icons were going to be the same, and that would have really been hard because then, like, I would have had to go in to say that was the number one PlayStation player, but because they decided to do that, we know
I think they should show the other logos. I want to know what Mint Daddy and Kofi's are playing on.
Yeah, I do too. It could be PC. I think Kofi's
I think it could be Steam.
It could be.
Steam, Nintendo Switch, but
it's all speculation.
Like you said, I don't know that many people are competing at a competitive level just due to the general stability problems. In Bandai Namco, please if you feel compelled, update, patch the game, fix it on Nintendo Switch, whatever quality of life changes you need to do.
Sometimes
to make
it's
it
on Switch, the Switch end too, or the Nintendo. It depends on, like, sometimes
one way or another.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's
hey,
not.
Congratulations,
not a
Eve. On a different note, Eve Branch did.
Jump from 7th to
got
6th, right?
Across the 400th mark,
Still in 6th place, but over 400 wins now.
Yeah, absolutely, which is really cool. Well,
there are very few of you guys left with 0 losses out there.
Well, now, and I can see that, Avi is making moves now because they have their stuff settled on a unsavory number, in my opinion, and they have now moved it, so we know that they're making moves again. They're woke up a little bit. Space is staying the same.
Yeah, I don't think anyone else is really doing too many moves.
But specifically.
At the same time, there could be moves lower in the leaderboard that are people making their way up.
Let's just drop down to 20, and there we go.
Sometimes I look at these guys here. This is all of the Chomp Champs.
Well, it can refresh a little bit further.
Does it go farther?
I mean, it goes down a little bit further, but I think that
it's like the top.
What it would be is I would have to find out the metric of how many wins you had to hit to get Chomp Champ, and then I would know that that's the earliest barrier to entry there. I don't remember that. I'm not trying to be cocky, but I just don't remember that. We didn't have time to look at that. I think it's 64. I think because we went all the way through to Chomp Champ on that one stream. I think it was 64 dubs. I'm pretty sure. Or no,
They should up that barrier to entry almost. They should almost bring that to like the 100 something.
Or maybe I didn't go straight to Chomp Champ. What did I do on the first? I don't know.
I haven't
had time to look at any of those
guys. It only took you like 2 streams to make your way to the top of the ranked leaderboard. Like,
I digress. I appreciate that. What is that? What is that blank space there now?
I think legitimately it's when someone put an unsavory name or a name that's not going to fit on the leaderboard, and
and I talked about not being able to.
Or being banned for cheating. If there's some way that people have found a way to, like, I don't know, people find ways to cheat in all kinds of different ways.
Well,
so if that perfect person was cheating by smurfing or doing some sort of other thing.
Right, we have scrolled through and we would actually be able to see in real time where that hole was created because it wasn't there.
It's been there for a while.
No.
I've seen the 0 for a long time.
You have seen the
I have seen the 0 or the like blank space for a long time.
I don't know.
I've noticed it for a considerable amount of time, like multiple
Why are they still letting them play though, is my question.
It's still giving their gameplay time, but you're not getting publicity for because you cheated.
Yeah, that's true.
If you cheated, then they want you to still play the game.
It's possible. Or sometimes, I know this is, let's not necessarily say that they cheated. Let's look at the worst, that as the worst case scenario. Let's say they found a way to make their name invisible, and sometimes people do that.
Sometimes people do that, where their name is an invalid character, but it still lets you submit it, so it's just invisible.
So let's not go horrible, like worst case scenario.
But that was just a spitball. My thought, it's probably a character that's some sort of characters that are non-displayable on PlayStation. Like, they all have specific ones that they don't use for one reason or another. Probably because in the code they can't represent that within a text box because it would interfere with some other line of code. If you know what I mean, like you couldn't use commas, or quotation marks. You would never use quotation marks really in that sort of instance because like that could interfere with some line of code, some sort of variable you've set up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Completely understand that. You spoke in terms in which I jive with. Any low-key loading screen music? Love the anime fighting games best personally, like regular PvP style. Yeah, I don't want to say like that marries well the best, but like I feel like sometimes the ones that are anime games that you get into the adventure mode and you can get into like grindy and stuff, it can be too much of a time sink. But the anime games that are more like the fighting based ones can be cool because they're, I want to always say like Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, but you can get in the world and have like a specific amount of time that you want to put in there and feel like a sense of accomplishment. Either you're honing your skills as a fighter or getting to play as your favorite badass from an anime for a little bit, and then that escapism is more easily quantified in a period that you feel like you accomplished something. Because sometimes we're not really willing to sink time into games that per se that we can't feel a sense of accomplishment. I know that there's certain games that I have stopped in many times because I couldn't feel the weight of my accomplishment or like the journey. I don't know, it's weird because it's score attack games. It's this specific metric could be just as high as like this specific score, or in a leaderboard competition is hitting this metric as this guy's score. So like that's the journey, versus an RPG is like personal connection to the character, or if you're creating your own character, it's then how your character is integrating in the world and the NPCs, and how the suspension of disbelief occurs where you can like feel married into the experience and you're affecting the change. And then the disconnect is usually just strictly having a correlation with whether or not you feel the real sense of urgency to accomplish the task, or help the environment there. So when you're in a situation like that, I feel like those games, those escapisms are great, but unfortunately, in our situation, like we can only have so many of those going on at once for our programming block, because we really, in a raw aspect, put out our programming block is like basically what we would do in our individual gaming acumen and say we could do this full time. So you have a good casual game going on, you have game that you're doing episodically, so you can feel that sense of accomplishment. You have like little tasks that you're doing personally, like your favorite like speed run or personal arcade attack high score type thing going on in the background. And instead of like just doing all those things as the things that you alternate in your gaming daily, you're gonna watch us alternate those things in our gaming daily time. So that's like why we can present this as a programming block for you, and it's just whether or not you vibe with those interests, you can decide what part of the programming block that you want to, you know, like if we're the cable channel, then what kind of what shows do you want to watch on it? Because you may not like the specific series, but you may like another one. So I know that different cable entities, I don't necessarily like all of the shows that are on there, so then that's when you can flip the channel, but it doesn't mean you disrespect them enough to not want to flip back when it's showing something that you want to watch. So what are some tips for success for this game? A lot of my tech is in the first leg of the journey. I'd say like the first 200 wins is a lot of tech as I'm involving it and talking about it in a commentary format. But some of the best tips for successful are to stay in your lane. So like when you find the lane in your head that you're going to go, make sure that you don't doubt what that's going to do. And everything that I'm saying is almost an allegory for yourself as individuals, because it really falls through. It's crazy. You can talk about this game and you can look at it and think that it's good advice in life too. Also is don't overextend yourself. So if you see like a power pelt that you want to reach and you see how the ghosts are running around it, and you know that you're going to have to either riddle around that area for a while to get there, or in this case if there's other people putting pressure on you, don't riddle around too much and think too much about it. Go looking for another path to go, because it's going to probably be better and you're not going to down as much. Also, don't forget to make yourself uncomfortable sometimes, and in this case for me it's making the screen wide so I can see all the mazes, because you can see I'm doing quite well by not doing that. But also if there's a lot of competition there, I don't want to think too much about what other people are doing, so it segues back to staying in your own lane, doing your own thing. So exactly at the end of the day is how you feel about it, that is what matters. So when you're doing your play styles, it could look really dicey and choppy and like crazy and sporadic to other people, and there's some mazes that I run like that, and then there's other ones that are clean and beautiful and crisp, and RNG hangs out with us and gives us a +1 like right when we're cleaning up, you know, a full meal, which is 4 ghosts and another pack or 2, and then like, you know, then there's the +1, like, and it marries up in a perfect experience. So, you know, you find your harmony within the chaos. That's the other tip. Like when you see all of it going on, find the area that's going to be most comfortable for you to find your harmony within the chaos. So start to make yourself uncomfortable by like dancing in line with the ghosts. You'll see me come in line with how they're moving, and like have just enough space to fit there, and like they could literally you know, turn around on the stop of a dime and chomp me. So then it segues into the next point, which is trust the process. So if it's working for you, continue to do it. Don't stop doing it. It's working. So that doesn't mean, like in this case, I was thinking about switching my base maze, but it's working so far, guys. So I don't know if I want to. Like it's almost like I'm having like my own inner battle with being able to see different things than the sushi maze that I picked, because I really like sushi, and it's, you know, but other people could look at this and say it's not appeasing to the eye. And I guess the last one would say be comfortable with where you're at, be comfortable in your home, because this is your home screen. So in this case, I think I picked it because Pac-Man pops really well against the black and in the lanes, so the lane choice for me and the easeability of the eye makes it easier to play. But I'm sure there's other options that are like that too. I don't know why the yellow pops against the orange, because you'd think that it wouldn't necessarily work, because some of these other mazes are a little bit more jumbled. But you know, so you have to be comfortable in your home, because when you go back to your home, then that's what you have to see, and that's what you have to deal with at the end of the day. And somebody can go wreck up your room, and then basically you have to deal with how it is. So that segues into clean up your room, which is try your best to not junk your own home before you go to somebody else's, because when you do that, if for some reason you respawn in your own home and you have a lot to clean up and nobody hung out there, it's really difficult to recover from that. If for some reason the ramp is bad, or especially if you're low on your auxiliary guys and you're trying to maintain a streak, you don't want to be in a situation where you have to try to clean up messy lanes and stuff like that, so that you're pretty much cleaning up either your mess or somebody else's mess. So that's my little couple minutes of pack tips. It's really those points are kind of like I don't know how to put it, a condensed version of the first couple hundred wins and trying to figure the game out, and you know, all of those things. So hopefully you find out that it helps and you can do better in this game, and you know, realize that you can do it too, and it just takes time and patience and practice. And you know, that's like going into the stay in your own lane thing, that's also being respectful to what division you're playing in and happy where you're at. You know, not looking at me and being like, oh, he's Chomp Champ and I'm never going to be Chomp Champ. Well, I'm sure there's some people that probably think that they'll never do it, and until you actuate it and believe in yourself, then you're right, you're never going to do it, because it's like equal to procrastination. So, you know, I encourage you to go out there and chomp your dreams. Chomp them up.
So I want to run this thought past you, Dad.
Sure.
Since I'm playing Dark Souls 3, right, I just beat Nameless King, which is the last optional or mandatory boss before Soul of Cinder, which is the final boss of Dark Souls 3, before the DLC. But do you think I should probably beat the game and just not go into New Game Plus and then start DLC?
Of course.
So almost as like in the order in which it came out.
Yes.
Instead of like because I was debating, right, do I beat Soul of Cinder or do I do DLC first? But I don't want to be over leveled for the final boss. I want it to be as intended.
Right.
That's kind of been the whole thought.
I can give you a good example of that, Bray. It's like when you have all of the Borderlands DLC loaded in, and then like you're doing the base quest, but you know, like you get to that level where you can access the other stuff, and there may be like an easier rank and file enemy or a gameplay loop that's going to level up you higher, and then you jump back into the base game and you finish it with all of that extra, and so you don't feel like you got the pacing how they did determine it. It's almost like you smurfed like your level.
Especially if
you don't want anybody to like your accomplishment with how fast you beat Nameless King is great because you did it live and in real time, and if like you would have smurfed your way to a high level and you would have beat it really easily, like you said, 45 minutes if you were over leveled, and it would have been like not as great of an experience.
I think that's my whole mission is to just be properly leveled. And shout out to our one of our subscribers, Karzak. He gave me a good little supply drop of souls close to the beginning of the game, just to make it so since I've beaten this game before, I didn't want to have to go and mindlessly grind souls for hours on or off camera.
It wouldn't have been fun for you.
It wouldn't have been fun
for them,
especially when it's catching up. And like, don't get me wrong, when I'm going in DLC areas, I'm not gonna abuse souls and level up. Like you said, I'm still gonna be at intended level. I'm still gonna be leveling up gradually. I'm still gonna be using the resources I've gained up until this point to
and I think that is great that if anybody has a problem with it, it just shows you how we were helping out, letting a sub help curate the experience.
We also let him,
you know what I mean?
we let, Karzak hopped in and helped with the Abyss Watchers.
That's so cool,
It's
man.
the only boss that he's like, well, he wanted to hop in for Cursed Rotted Greatwood, and then unfortunately he got distracted and died, so then I just ended up beating it by myself. But it almost became a full circle moment when he kept up with the streams and he kept watching, and when he hopped in for Abyss Watchers, he actually he put his summon sign down, and I went and summoned I'm trying to think of his character's name, but I can't remember.
Oh yeah, going back to not to cut you off.
Just shout out Karzak.
For sure, and Winnie, just to make sure I touch base with you. You're welcome for that advice. And I guess I have one more advice for that. Settle your stream, guys. You've seen that we had some like stream things. Man, if you have to settle your stream where you like stop, refresh the game, and wait, dude, like, whew, like our name not popping up, not being able to control our character, the PlayStation moniker popping off of there and not having it above our character, and it was weird. It showed like it looked like it was saying that we were playing it off of a cell phone. It had like a cell phone in like as the leader of the maze, like it was coming up in the. So I mean that has to be all placeholder information, or I don't know if there's like I don't know if like cell phone is an option. I haven't looked at this. Can you play this on your cell phone?
I think it might have just opened up recently to iOS, but I'm not entirely sure.
But yeah, that was scary, guys.
Let me see. Pac-Man Chomp Jams. No, it's only on PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Windows, Series X and S.
Okay. Weird.
So it's on Steam and everything, but it's like,
weird, my dudes. It's weird.
Like I said, I didn't think it was a mobile game or on any sort of mobile platform.
No, I mean,
but sometimes games are console ports, and they get the company thinks that they may have a market.
Could somebody be controlling it by accessing it through their cell phone with a controller, and that's what that icon means? Like, you know how you can like
it's not even
Backbone or whatever.
There's no accessibility on your phone.
But Backbone, you can use.
The Backbone, is that emulating the PlayStation 5?
The Xbox One.
The Xbox One.
Xbox, so you can then access this
Possibly,
on the Xbox One, and then use it as a controller.
If someone was using the Xbox One Backbone or whatever, possibly that's the only way.
That's the only way I can really think about it.
But
right?
Does that let you access your Xbox library?
Yeah. Right. I'm wondering. I mean, this is all speculation. You know.
I
It's a healthy speculation.
I looked into it. There's no mobile ports.
That's good though.
It
I
is
mean,
good.
not that I would.
It's over diluting your product, is what it is.
Oh no. I also will be okay with the fact that they had to spend $20, so it's not like they're super casual if they're spending $20 to play.
I don't think they would, even if they did have it on mobile, they wouldn't price that at $20.
Yeah.
There's like nothing on mobile that anyone would pay $20 for. Because the
true.
quality doesn't ever justify more than like $1 or $2. And if it gets up to the point where it's a $5 or $6 game, it should be a console game.
Absolutely.
Once it's to a certain, like the ground floor in like the lowest spot is mobile gaming, but then you move up from there and you can get, like we said with shout out to what was the Retro City Rampage, that started off as a mobile game, but I'm sure the port on Switch is 10 times better than the mobile port ever was, and I would never play it on mobile, so like the fact that it got ported to Switch, it was worth, you know, the couple bucks we dropped on it.
It's weird, but on day 16 you played Celeste with guest star Winnie, and it was one of those situations where you finally got to that Easter egg with the computer, and like the graphics on that reminded me of like a Nokia style old school 8-bit cell phone game, like Snake or whatever.
It's so cool when games are able to hide the demo or like the original version of the game in the game.
That's so cool.
Super Hot does,
I said 8-bitception, yeah.
Super Hot does that too.
Do they?
It's crazy that we did Super Hot as part of Game of Day May, and Super Hot has like a
that was day 11.
That was day 11,
yeah.
Right? That but it has like a what's it called? A prototype version of the game hidden within the game, which is just, that's so cool. It's such a neat premise.
Absolutely.
Such a goal for like as far as Easter eggs go, that is like goals, like for game developers to be able to hide something that's important to the timeline of their game, but also something that's like super cool to them. Like Undertale was another one of those things that had some really cool Easter eggs and really cool side like little secrets that it only was for those who had the attentive eye like Dad. If it weren't for Dad playing, I wouldn't have been able to see a lot of that, because I would have been just so excited to get through the experience. I remember my first time playing Undertale, I didn't get that, and with that we're so excited to get you know, up to snuff and get ready for that 2-player like it's tandem speed running almost, like
absolutely,
where or a marathon. What's it called when you like hand off the thing to like another person?
Isn't it a marathon?
But it's like a specific type of marathon, isn't it? A triathlon or something? No,
when you hand the baton over.
Yeah, what's it called when you like? Well, let's see. Friendly Google. Well, it's a relay marathon.
Relay race. Yeah.
Yeah, it's divided into sections and different people run each section. Yeah, it's almost like a gaming relay, a speedrun relay or something, like where I'm gonna do the genocide run of Undertale, and then Dad's gonna make up for my bad choices and do the pacifist run and save everybody.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because we know that we won't be able to do that within 11:55, we'll have to split that after one and like immediately go live into the other ones.
Yeah, it would literally be like, like we do, like I would do all of the genocide run, we'd stop it, Dad would do all of the pacifist run, and it would just be like, you would just know that it was back to back.
Yep.
And you know, like that's just the goal of it.
And we'll try to, when we do that, we'll try to locate that in a prime time where the most people are not going to be, like, we'll find the crux of that intersects that the most people could possibly be asleep, and make that's in the most core programming block too, so that you guys can, like, if you want to, like, marathon that day, or be not miss, like, one of the big milestones of those experiences.
Right.
Because sometimes, you know, we're doing it for ourselves too, first and foremost, so like we're able to do it in times that there is people sleeping and stuff, but it has to happen, like in this case, or, you know, when I did Sleeplessness, I just was sleepless and I threw on a stream because why not? Who knows what kind of weird things you're going to experience when you are half awake trying to play a game to go back to sleep. That's a neat thing to me. So shout out to the Sleeplessness stream if you check that out. Just playing some NES, or the Tyson stream, or just play some NES and try to fight against Mike Tyson with a horrible input delay, because I was playing on a TV that's not CRT, so being able to have those micro reactions and and stuff to Mike Tyson's about impossible, but we did build all the way to him for the first half of that stream, and in the second half beat a couple classics in the beginning of it, and then towards the end showcased a different NES game for a couple hours at the first level. It was really cool. I hope that you check that out if you like Nintendo and stuff. So don't really plug that because it's older content, and it was like the first crazy deal. It's over 500 or 400 something views, and it was a big deal to get that much eyes, and I wish I would have been more engaging in a chat situation, but I was dialed into just trying to beat Iron Mike and then trying to soothe my soul afterwards when it didn't happen. The Tyson, we call it the Tyson stream.
Well, when is his fight with Jake Paul? Do you think you could train up by then to beat him in NES on a classic CRT?
I know I could give it my all, and I know that if I'm looking at the monitor and it's CRT, or actually here we go. Here's a plug that I feel good doing. Retro USB does a great product called the Retro USB Nintendo AVS, which we have here to play all of our classic content now, that makes it so it upscales your stuff to HDMI, and it's beautiful. And I haven't tried to play Punch Out on it yet and see if it decreases the latency or if it adjusts it to the point where, because I know that they built that board from the ground up. It's not a pretender board.
It's not an emulator or anything. It legitimately is playing the classic NES cartridges on essentially old new stock.
So yeah, I think that we can marry that experience together where that day we can feature something, for sure, because when things make sense, like guys, we're playing Dave the Diver, which I'll have an episode for you later today of that, and
it's just cool the variety, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
You okay?
It's really cool the variety of content today. Like, you're gonna do your Pac-Man to start the day, and then I'm gonna do my Dark Souls stream, and then you're gonna come back and do a little bit of Dave, and then we're gonna do our Game of Day May game, and that'll probably be the. Are you going to do another Pac-Man tonight?
I have to book it with a Pac-Man, but I told them that I wasn't sure that when I was resting up and doing some other stuff, if you were going to possibly do somewhere like something casual or something fun. Like
I might do a 2-hour
we have a full day of programming.
Very booked.
But it's the weekend, so it's a little bit busier on the weekend, and it's always going to be busy during Game of Day May, and it's going to be busy during the month of May because we use that as our WrestleMania season.
This is the biggest hype of the year.
Super Bowl,
it's still the ground floor, and I'm sure there will be people watching Game of Day May when it's not May, and they'll be like, man, I wish I would have been a part of this while it was all live.
And you have to wait 11 more months for it to come again. Yeah. You'll be excited by the time it comes back around. Like, guys, what about Game of Day May?
I think you guys forget, Game of Day May is just it's the halfway point, and like we said, you guys forget, that's to give us inspiration for the rest of the year. That's where we have October. What did really well during Game of Day May, and what did we have a bunch of fun in? Well, now we're gonna start series that are gonna run all the way through the rest of the year. And as far as Red Dead goes, we found out that we can do an Undead Nightmare around October and add that to our.
And I've never done that, so that'd be a first impression.
I'm excited to have a whole Halloween month where we're just doing spooky stuff.
I think it's cool that you did a first impression of Red Dead, and I will actually be able to. Together, we'll be able to do a first impression of Undead because I've never seen anything other than the cover of the game. So
yeah, I've never played.
Never watched anybody's content of that. Never seen any of that. So it would be a raw first impression of that too, and it'd be great to do that in October. So.
Well, yeah, we typically, I wouldn't say we're always going to be doing multiple streams a day. It'll definitely calm down at certain points of the year where it's going to be a stream a day. We're going to get that definitely one in.
And then there'll be times where because of the content drought and we've caught up in a lot of stuff and we're also getting ready for stuff that
or
be
if we're trying
to
a week, or like Dad said, to mentally prepare ourselves for something upcoming, or say there's just a little spot where we just need a little break.
Or it's a day that we're working on the community Minecraft server all day. Yeah, if you can still be hanging out with us when you're in the membership and we're doing that, but we're not going to be streaming it that day. So then those are the days that we will be completely off. We'll be offline on those days, but you'll still be able to catch up and not feel like you were oversaturated. But again, it's hype sauce, guys, because we're riding the wave.
We want you guys to really understand how much effort we put into the community Minecraft server. That is the main attraction as far as our memberships go. That is the Vid-Bits game. It's our RPG we're building, and you can.
We haven't really verbalized it, but yeah.
You can have a little piece of that. You can build there. You can as long as you work with me and you make sure that it fits within the scope of what makes sense. You're not going to build a big purple penis. I mean, I'm not gonna be mean, but like, if you build a big purple penis, I'm gonna have to be like, dude, you're either gonna stop doing this or you're not allowed to be here anymore.
Right. You don't even get a plot of land way far away from everybody else to build big purple penis.
There's no purple penis.
You can do that.
Space.
Yeah, we
right.
said that way too much. But
I mean,
but yeah.
If we're being real,
we're being real. We're being real because I feel the same way.
I've played with friends before.
Yeah,
okay?
no, I get it. Like,
I've played enough Minecraft servers where it just becomes dickland, and it's like,
oh man, come on.
Like why?
Why is it land?
But me and Dad have put a lot of effort into the community Minecraft server because a lot of what the channel is a channel that I always would have wanted to watch and be a part of as a kid. So with that, I would have wanted my channel, even if it wasn't a Minecraft channel, just to have the little side piece, because everyone loves Minecraft. Everyone knows Minecraft. So to have that as a little world that we can, you know, build and slowly put together, like have our own structures and really like make things, you know, pop, make things make it feel like a hub world, have our own like high pixel like situation. Like, to me, that just means the world, to have all kinds of reach with our community, and have the fact that we do have members. Shout out to Skippy the Bard at the completely unnecessary tier, and shout out to Puzzler Studios, aka Musicus Dominium, at the Buy Us a Bit of Caffeine tier. I totally appreciate everything that you guys have done for us, and thank you guys for your constant motivation to help drive me and Dad to make new content, to help keep us interested in the content we've started. And thank you guys so much for the constant support over these past 2 years. I can't say that enough. It really just it almost brings a tear to my eye to think about some of the growth and like the work we've done here, and the fact that you guys have been, you know, here through and through since the beginning. Like, that's just, it's a lot. I mean, it's just like, it's a dream come true.
It's because honestly, we've hit really big milestones as far as subscriber numbers go, but then like when you guys started helping the foundation, and because those numbers made it so you saw it or whatever, even if like it started to gel with you more, like when you became the base, the foundation didn't start at 1 as far as the subscriber goes. It did in a way, but it really started whatever that number was when you guys started interacting with our stuff.
It's 1,000.
Yeah, I mean,
I think a YouTube channel really takes off when you hit 1,000 subs, and when you move up from there, it's so quick. Like Dad said, you hardly ever see channels that are at 2,000-3,000 subscribers, because they blow up to 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 subscriber channels so quick that like people are just glad to have been there at that ground floor where they helped. Like,
you were hoping that you got a snapshot of history when you're like, okay, yeah, the only reason why I know that 3,000 existed is because when the flames were fanned between 2,000 and 5,000, that couple week period or whatever, when they got crazy traction, that you were one of those, and you decided to snap what number you were so you could like save for cred. And even then, I don't care about that kind of stuff. I hope that you guys know you're all equal to us. If you're like the last person that just subscribed, or subscriber 93, which you know who you are because I talk to you all the time, you know, it doesn't really matter to us because you're a member of it and a part of it. It's just, you know, hopefully you're on the right side of history where you're not hating on us and putting out that negative energy, because we're not doing that for you. We're just trying to...
people don't realize that I made a couple shorts that were satire, and they went over their head. They were overly biased criticism, which I will totally understand. Like, it's like very specific to my situation, but like I want, you know, I'm very like, I don't know. I made an analog pocket video, and it literally was just me complaining about how we've used this device for less than 2 months, and it already has scratches all over. I have 3DSs that I've used since I was a child that are not that beat. I know people who have Game Boys and stuff that from, you know, when they came out, that aren't that beat. That is exactly where I'm coming from. It's not. It was never that.
If you ever know what a parody of a situation is, obviously
it was over the top.
FYI, if you're in the stream at this point now and you guys are still fawning over that, we've sold it and made, like, we neutralized our profit. Like, I rented it for like a year for like $75.
Yep, we got rid of the analog pocket quite a long time ago.
When I find one that's like, you know, not a matte finish, I want that product. That product's amazing. It makes sense to be integrated into our system because it has easeability of so much of a library of natural hardware, because, you know, that makes sense. But from a walking around portable standpoint, and if we're talking about cosmetically, matte finish is not something that I would want to have on the back part where it's sliding into the cartridge port, and that was one of our main critiques.
Yeah, that was the other thing is the cartridge. Just putting
the cartridge port being scratched is a problem. You're so picky. Like, this thing was super expensive, and I had to pay an inflated amount of money to get it.
If it's supposed to be a premium product, give me a premium finish quality.
It could have had the matte finish could have been on the front, I guess, if you wanted to. Just don't put it on the cartridge port. But it's still, most people that had the matte finish ones were getting skins to put over to protect the matte finish, so that defeats the purpose.
Yeah, I shouldn't have to be forced
the matte finish to grip the skins that you were inevitably going to sell, then I guess that makes sense.
But for some people, that's a texture problem. Some people hate
skins. ASMR-wise, some people don't like to feel that.
I was never a person that could ever wrap or put skins on their 360 or Xbox One controllers. That's just, I couldn't. Or your PlayStation controller would ruin your grip.
Right.
Like, the only time I've ever had anything like that was this, what is this, the Xbox Elite Series 2 or whatever, where the grip is part of the controller, but now it's part of my problem. Because I played it so much that the controller's not falling apart. They've made the core things...
His heat in his hands and the vibrations and craziness of all the accomplishments is basically starting
to... And dropping it on the ground occasionally. I mean, but at the same time...
Everybody drops their controller on the ground.
We've had the Nintendo Switch Pro controllers since they came out, and we have had 2 of them that have been dropped on the floor.
Another one.
They have been dropped on the floor hundreds of times, and they still work.
That's awesome.
Like the fact that...
Shout out to the quality build on that and R&D that made those things.
Yeah, literally. Those were like...
They were made for gamers that gave us the value,
They put those in washing machines and just let them just bounce, tumble around.
Let's see how many cycles we can throw this through, and if it still works, then we know we're working with the right product here.
Literally, it was like they just gave it a full tumble cycle.
Goodness. Okay, I gotta.
Dude, they definitely made the AI on the ghosts significantly more ramped up, you know.
I mean, it's more. I feel there's more randomness to it, is what it is, because I've been kind of slipping into their patterns too, and now they're getting a little. They're getting not dicey per se. But...
Exactly, that is a great point, Winnie. A lot of the times people convince themselves that they are just treating the products poorly, even though there's a chance that they've been treating these products with the utmost of care. With that analog pocket, Dad was so scared.
Is that gaslighting then too?
Yeah,
in a way, they're like, no, it's you. You're
no,
just
yeah,
it's
your fault, but
even
though it's just shitty product quality build.
Yeah.
Like the build is just not a good
Treat
quality.
It better.
But yeah, that's a good point. Like, a lot of times people just put themselves down, and I think it's just consumer products have become worse and worse.
Well, I mean, also we've been put in this situation where we're so fearful of the $1,000 mini computer we carry around, so that we have to like have a case to carry it around, and then like
the paranoia of having a phone is real. Like, did I lose my phone? Did I drop my phone?
But
kind
like
of thing.
the real G's, I guess, are the ones that have the really expensive phone. They don't have a case in it, so anytime that they just drop it to the ground, it's just gonna shatter them.
Yeah, that's the flex of it.
I'm like, man, dude, you got like the new whatever, and it looks so. Because the thing is, these things they design these things to look sexy outside the case, and we instantly just slap them in one as soon as we get them to protect them. Like,
well, that's the smart thing to do.
It is, because it's the investment. It's the best investment or part to protect the investment. I mean, you would do that for your laptop if you're carrying around. You get a good messenger bag or a good protective armor case. You know what I mean?
I'm at that point where I'm only carrying. Are we stopping at 600 wins today?
605. That'll be the other pack, the end of the second pack snack, and it'll be a round session. And
okay. Yep. How many wins would that be total?
I think all of them, except for one, maybe one of them.
No, how many this stream?
Oh, it'll be 36, which is 2 pack snacks.
Last night you were at
69.
But since last night it would be 105 wins.
Oh, I mean, if
I was thinking in while you've been number 1 PlayStation player.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
That would be 100 something wins since then.
Just trying to not,
Still trying to stay humble.
Yes,
still.
very much so. Humble, blessed, thankful, appreciative, and just being the conduit for this energy for us all to experience this journey together, guys. Because at the end of the day, we're just all hanging out together and trying to play video games and talk about how cool it is that we can form some sort of theme to the journey
and have a community around it and be able to build that. And
so shout out again to Bandai Namco, and hopefully that we're trying to blossom this community for this game and get people together to play it and stuff like that, and promote it in healthy environments and stuff like that too.
And ultimately, we're just so glad to be able to inspire others to chase their dreams and to follow their passions, because sometimes you just wish that someone would have been in the right place to tell you that when you needed to hear it.
Yep, so just another 10 dubs on this session, then you're going to get to enjoy a full day of Vid-Bits programming and this is just the beginning for the day, guys. Again, don't worry about the fact that we have a bunch of streams going on, and it's crazy that it's going on all day for a whole month. It's just like our WrestleMania. It's our super, jump off point for you to see what we have to offer and keep us active as content creators in a structured environment. And you do have an influence in that by hanging out with those streams and suggesting more games and stuff like that too. So once we get all that down, it's almost like the brainstorming for the year, if you speak, an allegory for brainstorming for us for the year creatively. And then the programming blocks do slow down a little bit more as far as like streaming as much per day. Usually it'll probably then afterwards just be like, one thing from Bray, one thing from me, and then like something from each other. So so 2 to 3 at the most in a day with a day off a week and stuff like that, so we can structure the content and stuff. But there definitely will be a day off of a week when we are not in Game of Day May or in a streak type situation. Also, that's barring me having to keep Chomp Champs going as far as like the longevity of it. I will at least be playing one game a day in the very least, at least to keep the streak alive and all that other stuff. So besides that, it will be more structured and less chaotic. But right now, just enjoy that. Enjoy the fact that you're getting off, if you're younger, to getting off into summer vacation. So you have some crazy stuff to look forward to there as that goes on after you just, successfully walked. Shout out to one of our, pioneer members and Musicus Dominium that's walking today. If you're doing that, it's an amazing accomplishment. Not everybody gets to do that. I think that it's taken for granted that it's something that you still have to work hard and kind of like, like this, you have to work hard and be dedicated to do that. So shout out to that, and hopefully you guys that are having a great summer will be able to finish out the next couple of weeks of Game of Day May. We got, today is the end of the start of like the beginning of 2 more weeks of that content. We'll have a community poll with a couple other options so that you guys can hit one of the wild card slots up for that. And then what's going on here with Chomp Champs and the series that are going on now. But it's not, if it seems over diversified and complex and there's a lot of stuff going on, just know that we've kind of laid out the mission MO. And on the Discord, I think eventually we'll have like a mission statement, and then so that we can stop having like to sell the whole aspect of how the channel is. Eventually you'll just get it. You'll get how we do things around here. But to be able to have 2 people as dual hammers doing it, neither of us are putting more stress on the other to the point where it's unhealthy or anything like that. So it's insane to see from outside perspective how much content we're dropping right now, but we're really trying to grow the brand and get exposure, and then by proxy it's going to have a halo effect where other things that are in our interests, which is other co-op sponsorships and building this community, will be able to blossom because of the reach. So thank you for that, as we've got about 9 more to go, 4 more till we hit that milestone of 600 wins, and then 5 more to end out that round 18. That if I would have not talked more in between, when you do it all together, you can do about 18 wins in about 90 minutes. So we call it a pack snack around here. And when we do a couple of those, it's a snack pack. It could be 2 to 3, and then we end the stream with a little bit of discussion, and then move on the day. And that's how we play Chomp Champs around here. That's how we're engineering it for the experience, so that you also know what's going on, and while we're talking about stuff, and continue our way to be the #1 chomper in the U.S. Eastern and global divisions, and we're pretty close. We're making moves, and it's just growing in distance behind us, and we're closing the gap in front of us, which is all we can do is to attain those goals. So hope that you're enjoying watching along. Looks like P-Man stopped after his unfortunate loss so close to the 300th and 0, and it just was so close, guys. It looks like some of these other 0 and 0s got neutralized, guys. Like, you can see in the legacy of the beginning of the stream, I was trying to shout them out a little bit and give them some props. These trios of people that were undefeated, that were competing with each other in a really close gap, and then unfortunately for them, there were some people that separated the trios, and P-Man lost his undefeated streak, and it's just wow. But if you've been watching the stream, there's been a couple stream stability issues today in the U.S. Eastern Division, and we're just trying to go with the flow. And I guess to bring it about to a beautiful circular moment when the person in chat, Winnie, asked another piece of advice with this game, is just go with the flow. Yeah, you're going to dictate your own flow and just kind of like marry in with that, and it's going to work out for you. So going with the flow is, we couldn't do anything about the server instability, so what we could do was refresh and restart what we couldn't do is super panic when we were in the mazes and we weren't able to control our character. And of course we had that one game where we had a weird icon as our character. We weren't even discerned as the PlayStation player anymore. So, I mean, those are unfortunate things that happen, and the good thing about having all of this catalog and database is you can see the journey. So, you know, unfortunately for like P-Man, they had that loss, and it could have happened because of that. I guess that's another reason why I'm mentioning it. Is that it could have happened because of that, as very well. You never know. And if it did, I definitely can lament that, because I have, like, you know, a fear about that myself, and I need to shoosh up a little bit here. Oh, there we go. There's some competition. I need to be mindful of chomping. And I just need to respectfully disengage. Manny jar. Major roof. Chomp. 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 Dude, he gave me an extra guy there. Oh no. There we go, there's an extra man's. Nice. See, I think it didn't refresh, so let's leave queue. If we've learned anything, it's we're not trying to press server stability issues. Also, shout out other people that have to do with this game. I know that we've been saying a lot about Bandai Namco. I just haven't super dialed into all the things that Amber and Play with Fire have to offer, so I do appreciate the fact that they also are involved in the creative process of bringing Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs to us, so thank you very much for that, and I want to make sure to give a shout out to them as well. Also, continuing to give love and support to Bandai Namco for creating this game. Bandai Namco Entertainment Incorporated, thank you so much for this amazing experience that we are allowed to enjoy for you guys, and continue, like I said, our undefeated streak. 3 more wins until 600. You know, not to jinx it, but double what P-Man unfortunately was trying to get flawless. So again, I understand the pressure, P-Man, and I'm so sorry for your loss. I you know, regretfully hope that if it happened, it was because of server instability issues, so that you can like have some sort of clarity or whatever. And if it wasn't towards like baby DPS or dog DPS, or you had to go to the bathroom so bad that you just said, can't do it anymore, can't chomp, must relieve bladder, and then you lost it. Or like me, you can see some of the drama where I accidentally used the remote and turned the TV off, and then had to hurry up and scramble to find the remote and to turn it back on before I started the game. A couple games where I almost fell asleep in the course of doing some of the late night stuff by myself. I'm definitely have a lot more energy. I'm doing so many other things outside of Vid-Bits stuff that in my life too, so even though you see us stream all the time, and because our voices sound similar, you may believe you know, that we're the same person sometimes, because when we're not together in stream and we do individual projects and we talk and stuff, our passion is very evident. But Braden is not a clone of me by any means. He may have some tones in my voice, but I mean, obviously, if he was a clone of me, then it would, or then I would also have the skills to be able to beat Dark Souls like he did. And I tell you what, like, I know we've talked about staying in your lane before. Like, you know, I could train up to be good, but I just don't think I could be that good, because some things that you can dream it and you can achieve it, but like I could be that good possibly, but then I'd have to I would have to give less attention to other things that I want to do and be good at. So like that's when you have to like let somebody else have their flowers and let somebody else be good. Like he's really good at Mappy, and you know, he's developed tech. Like it's the same stamina that you have to have to play like a game like this, and the higher levels of Mappy, you have to have the ability to have the same type of stamina. It's a lane game. You're trying to look at your lane, stay in your lane, make micromanage decisions. It's impressive to watch him do fake outs and stuff like that when he's getting chased down by the Meowkies, and I really enjoy watching that, and I can't wait to be able to bring some of that to you guys in a way where we can hone in on some arcade machines and show you some of that play, show you some of that tech, show you some of that love as we climb those leaderboards too, because leaderboard climbing is something that's definitely part of the Vid-Bits DNA. We don't shy away from it, being competitive, giving you guys tech about that stuff. I don't know if we talk about it enough, but in this situation I feel like it's an opportunity to, because obviously that's what the series is about, is climbing to the top of a leaderboard. So you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, I was just shameless, like plugging his gaming acumen and just kind of marrying that up with kids a couple points. One of them being, if your friends have something, let them have it. So like next time that Charlie gets a fucking speedrun record that's awesome, let him have it for a little bit. Like, because then you guys unfortunately min-max his tech, and then he can't then unfortunately, like, I want you to like take some of our speedrun tech and evolve it, or show us what we're doing wrong if you are competitive in that field, if you're dedicated that much to do some of the stuff like the DuckTales run. But like, you know what I mean? If you take it, we're okay with it. He's trying to find his lane, stay in his lane and find his nice niche little things, and then have it for a little bit, and as soon as he gets it live, you guys just eat it. And it's selfish. It's just selfish. There's a right way to do it and a hard way to do it. Like, and to me, because you watch him do it and he pours himself out by doing it live, and then the next thing you do is like Robin. I know that that's kind of part of video game culture too, but I guess it's the way that you do it. I don't perceive the energy as anything other than malicious. I mean, because as a community, you can evolve tech and stuff, but like, I think most of the time people give people their flowers or give them the chance to like revel in their accomplishment, but it seems like as soon as he gets it, you guys take it from him, so he doesn't get to do that. And I'm just like, as a gamer, that would make me so upset. That's why I feel like when I do get number one, I have to do such a lengthy, I mean, a freaking legendary, at least level push to put myself ahead so I can have a little bit of a life to keep it, because I want to keep it for a while. And like, he puts it out there, has a great speed run on a game, or puts exposure on a game that somebody can have as accessible for a speed run, and then like somebody takes it from him. Like, why would you do that? Because he doesn't give you money in a giveaway? Like, you know what I mean? I guess that's where I'm at with it. He didn't message you and give you money for your channel or whatever in a giveaway or whatever when he's giving away money. He's trying to do that in the most ethically sourced possible way, where it's random based on people putting in on it. And like, when he does do that, like, he's not giving it away based on what you say that you want. He actually reads some of the things that you guys say that you want, and he's like, oh, okay, and then like, he just sends you the money because you won the contest at a random element because you were active and you were eligible for it. So like, then he gets critiqued for that kind of stuff. So shout out Charlie and all the cool things that you do. I mean, it's kind of like, Pac-Man being unauthentically non-gussied up in here, you know what I mean? And I'm being the only person that's representing Pac-Man by himself, and, you rock a plain white tee instead of, like, associating a specific brand with it, and it makes sense because it's, like, at the end of the day, it's, like, selling yourself and authentically selling yourself, and we completely fucking vibe and rock with that. Must relieve bladder, and I do. I know I was gonna just power through real quick, so just give me a second. I mean, really just a second. Let me relieve my bladder real quick. It will be like not even enough time to put the right back screen on, so like 60 seconds. Let's say like a racehorse. I raced through that. If you're just hanging out in chat, my name is Brian, and I'm a member of a father-son YouTube duo of gamers that are called the Vid-Bits, and we have a dash in our name, and that's our Siberian Husky, the Chief. We are trying one day at a time to show you the things that you can do with YouTube and live your life and actuate your dreams, and one day at a time. And today is the day that you get to watch us hit 600 wins. We're going to go to 605 for this session, and continue our climb to become the #1 Chomp champ in the world. I guess because I see more people in stream, I'll go ahead and ping the board here. As you can see, we are second place, about to hit 600 in the U.S. Eastern Division, so second place, number 1 on PlayStation. Then below that, we are number 3, Chomp Champ in the world, number 1 on PlayStation, now eclipsing our rival, Socrates, and we've done it now by 100. So that makes me feel pretty good because I know how long that takes to actuate. So when I see moves being made, I can decide, oh, they're making moves, I'm going to climb with them so that they don't make any ground, that type thing. These are the things that you have to think about when you're looking at the logistics of how you're going to accomplish these things. And I mean, there's lots of micro computations, so it's like you can make micro computations in a game like Pac-Man when you're always making micro computations. So you look and see how people are moving, and you respect the grind, but also know that life happens. And unless Kofi or Mint Daddy has no life every day and can do it full time, I'm a full-time YouTuber, and my secondary job is very accommodating with this time schedule, so we're going to hit number 1, guys, and it's going to be awesome. And then we're going to run away with the race and continue to embrace this community, as the only person playing this game is regular Pac-Man. 600 wins will be a milestone as regular Pac-Man. We've never skinned up. We just go out there as Pac-Man repping the game, and we love the fact that you guys are all picking all the different costume variations and all the different skins and stuff, and highly encourage you to do so. But at the end of the day, when you see us, when you see the Vid-Bits representing Pac-Man in the maze, we will always be regular OG Pac-Man, and it's awesome. It's awesome to be Pac-Man wrecking his game and trying to take back number 1. Because we have Pac-Man fever. I'm going out of my mind. And if you watch some of the streams, you'll think that I got Pac-Man. Yeah, I'm trying to like stop to the point where they're like, they don't pick up on like, oh, you said more than 5 seconds. No, it's cool. I'll find out that some of those stuff are more accessible, and I'll be like able to go off in that whole little tangent where you see me being happy, where I'm singing the rest of it in my head. Because if I start singing it, then you guys can start singing it from where I start singing it, and just sing the rest of it in your head, and then we'll be on the same page. I'm wondering though, when there's server instability issues, or when like it's being updated, that's when the ghosts are. There's a time that you'll see graphically that they flash a certain way, that their color flashes through, but then like they don't necessarily. I don't know how to explain it. They don't necessarily stabilize as that color. There's a little bit of a black hue that's glimming through it too, which makes me know it's kind of off. I mean, eventually when I'm going through and I'm able to like show you the science behind it and all that, the Pac science, when you see the little graphic with Pac-Man with like the professor hat on, and you're seeing like little bits of stuff about this game, when we're able to break down tech and stuff more, when we can take a step back, which all that stuff only happens after we reach number 1 and I can spend more time on that as a passion project. You'll be able to see that, and when I can like cite some examples when I look through the footage, and I'll be able to cut out specific examples and show you that what it looks like, so that you know if you see that, there's a chance that the ghost AI is going to be a little off. Let's grab ourselves a Pac energy drink, a Speedy Pack, a can of Speedy Pack, if you will. Speedy Pack is awesome if you know how to use it right. Just know that if it's really a fast situation, you want to grind on the rails, that you don't use that tech when you use Speedy Pack, because it can actually make you a little bit less in control. I don't know how to describe that other than you finding out yourself. It depends on your playing style specifically. Like I hug down, like see how I hug down and it sparkstered? $5.99, baby. We got one more to go 600 to no. No pressure, no pressure. I mean, there is pressure, so I can't say no pressure. It's pressure every day, and I'm continuing to thrive under the pressure, and I'm blessed and thankful and appreciative, and I'm trying my darndest to be humble. That's also why I'm starting to show other love to other people on the leaderboard, so the universe knows that I'm appreciative of their efforts too, and giving positive love and radiance towards their efforts too, because it's all good, man. Look at him. He's closing his eyes, thinking it's all good. So the other people that are putting in the work, I'm so happy to be competing with you guys.
regardless, Mint Daddy, just know that me and Kofi are obviously trying to also hit 1,000 wins, but we are trying to do it flawless. And me and him are kind of racing each other to see who's the first to do it. That's another thing I feel like I will verbalize as a marathon moment where we can all talk about when we spoke it into existence, that me or Kofi will be the first person to hit 1,000 and 0. You know, barring any horrible technical issues, we're not trying to manifest that energy. We know that it's possible. We're accepting and loving of it. And again, become vulnerable and streaming every game, you'll be able to see it. That's why I'm not trying to complain about it, but also let you know in the middle of a play if it's being technical, that you'll be able to see it and know that I'm not kind of crapping out on it. You've seen consistently how many games I've had, so I hope that those things fall in our favor and we have server stability. That's why I always say good games and good, you know, good RNG and all that other stuff. So I'm very blessed and thankful to be able to do this and provide number 600 for you guys and enjoy this. Grapes, guys. Grapes. Grapes in freaking chat, bros. That's awesome. They had to have increased the enemy AI. Brain was talking about it because I can't tell you the amount of little times I've got to grapes. Awesome, I saved them. What are we here? What is this? Watermelon? First time, chat. Watermelon, bros. Can we get this? Can we get this for win 600? Get watermelon? Like, who's gonna get it? Yes, guys, yes! That's a first. That's a first, and I hope that they give him another extra guy because I have so many. I'm just letting him get the extra guys because if we can get, we're so close, guys, to popping an Achivo, and I'm not trying to jinx it because I'm trying to protect this guy. And I just said don't show mercy, and it's at such a risky time. But I want to see what's next, guys. Get super hyped, guys. Let's get hyped. Please just survive. Get all the good power ups and survive, bud. There we go. Come on, baby. Man, I left a dirty lane up here. That's a really dirty lane. It could be a real person. They just bounced me back. Clean that lane up. Believe blinds. I think that's a real person, guys. There's a good chance, man. There's a good chance. They're so precise. Here we go, baby. What we got here? Ooh, lemons. Here we go. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm hyped. We got further than we've gotten with somebody. Even if it was an AI, that means the AI is increased in quality. So that was a fantastic milestone for a 600 dub. I'm just grinning ear to ear. Wow. What a great deal. We got 5 more dubs to round out the even 18 stack so that when we separate this out, it's easier to imbibe in smaller, like 90-minute sections because it's about that long to do 18 games, except for when that happens, when you try to point build like that. I think I kind of just, I don't want to verbalize the strat, guys. You saw it. If you guys checked out 159, you see the future strat to hit some of these milestones that, you know, people aren't playing nice with the AI or the bots at the end, but there's a way to do it, and that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. If you want to talk about that more, join. If you're into this game, you want to talk about it more, join the membership tiers, and we'll talk about it. We can discuss it. But other than that, that was an amazing 600 win. Very blessed, thankful, and appreciative, and humbled to be there and to get that, and only to be the second person to do it. You know, that's reality, guys. I'm only the second person to do it. The only other person was Kofi. So, shout out to Kofi for having the wherewithal to do it. Shout out to RNG giving us the good stability on the servers. And like I said, we got 5 more to go. I'm pumped. I'm pumped. I wish that kind of stuff would have happened more when, you know, like I'm by myself and I'm like trying to keep myself hyped. But maybe I can start to incorporate that when I'm safe, and I'm not worried about maintaining a streak, and that kind of like getting fired up with trying to keep an AI alive at the end will do that for me. Because, you know, if I have like a buffer, I had 4 guys, you can theoretically do that. And again, I'm getting excited and I don't want to tell you. It's like, I don't know, it's when you get excited and you get some new tech, and like I'm not gatekeeping it, but I don't want to fully like say do this and then you guys are like doing all the things I'm saying about not sticking to your tech and stuff. But that was awesome. We almost hit that 50,000 point trophy by doing that, and then, you know, that's halfway to the freaking master goal, which is to get the key. So sweet that you guys see that 600th win like that. I mean, I'm pumped, guys. I'm fired up. And like I said before, like I'm playing this as my job because I'm a full-time YouTube creator and everything too. But also, it's one of those things that this is the time that it's not a job. It's so much fun. Like, people are probably like, how the hell is this Pac-Maniac basically this far and deep into this this crazy conquest, and he's still loving it? He's still like, that's what you get with us, Bandai Namco. You're gonna get infectious, fervorous, unapologetic, freaking like love for the things that we do that you love. So when it's happening to be like a perfect marriage of Pac-Man and my desire to be the Pac champ, and you guys making a game that's a battle royale. So I mean, I would have still been competing on the leaderboards, and I am actively competing on leaderboards for lots of Pac-Man games. So that's another thing. If you want to have an update of all the Pac-Man games that I'm competing in, or we have scores up on our arcade 1-up machines and stuff like that, then all you have to do is join the membership tiers. That's other information that you get with that, so that you can, you know, if you want to jump into an arcade 1-up machine and beat one of my scores or beat one of Bray's scores and then humbly post it to the community, then you guys can do that, and you know,
you can be competing with that. So like, even if I take this title, you can say, well, that guy may be the PAC champ of PlayStation, but on Arcade 1-Up I got a better score than him in Pac-Man, and I have the server stats to prove it. You know what I mean? And that's the type of healthy competition and healthy engagement that we're looking for here. Not toxicity, where we can each let each other do their own thing and have their own accomplishments too, give each other their flowers, but also just another level of interactivity that we offer in the Vid-Bits. And I hope that you enjoy that in the future, or if you feel compelled to do now, you decide to inquire more information about that. So look forward to that kind of stuff, and I look forward to those type of challenges. So accessibility is key. What? Your mission statement is accessibility and transparency and mental and physical health and wellness, but you don't shield specific brands except for water, and you, the brand is you, brought to you by you and your desire to do you doing you? Awesome. That's right, man. It's not just awesome, it's awesome sauce. And hype sauce. I'm drinking a lot of it. That last win was amazing. Not this one, but the 600th one. So I highly suggest you check that out. 4 more to go for this sesh. And I really appreciate you guys hanging out. It really was awesome to not only get a tech breakthrough at the end, but get a milestone, guys. We had watermelon for the first time in a game, and we almost ate lemon. It was so close, so close. So that means, the 50,000 point barrier achievement, people have said that that's not possible with another person. I believe it's totally possible with a bot now, based on also good RNG, and you're gonna have to work hard. So again, I don't want to go into it because I just want to wait till it happens and then we can talk about it. So, super hyped. I know as much as I'm chomping these mazes, Brady is chomping at the bit to get his hands on his next content, so look forward to that. He will be going live with that very shortly after we finish this session, so stick around. If you're in chat and you're hanging out, make sure to stay tuned if that's your bag. But he is definitely going to be giving you some passion in the form of raw, unbridled experience where, he's tailoring that to you by trying to give you the content that you would want to see, and showing you that you too can play through Dark Souls 3 and get ready for Elden Ring, get yourself in fighting trim so that you can take on the DLC when it comes out. Just playing really difficult bosses in general are going to get you where you need to go in a game like that. So it doesn't mean if the bosses are necessarily the same, or the dodge mechanics are necessarily the same, or the bonfire mechanics are necessarily the same. Just the fact that you will have to get beat down by some bosses, and that whole feeling of getting knocked down and getting back up. You can live that with him right now as he gets in his journey, and you follow him along. And it's a journey to complete ultimately the end of that journey will be when he finishes the Elden Ring DLC, because according to the developers there will be no more DLC for that game, so it will be a little bit bittersweet, but hopefully we know that means they're moving on to the sequel. I do not like it when a game hangs on with too much DLC, when those people can not be splitting their time working on the next game. And I think less is more in that case. If I have one great
I think a sequel to Bloodborne is what they'd likely be working on after Elden Ring, just because Bloodborne's so different in a good way to
always
or Sekiro. I could see Sekiro getting a sequel because it's a distinctively different but just as rewarding combat style. So
awesome.
I could see that being the direction they go in the future.
Bro, we ate watermelon. It was amazing.
You got a watermelon?
Yeah,
that's the farthest you've been now.
Well, we actually were on lemon, but he died. The bot died, or it could have been a real person.
I don't think those bots are capable of getting that far.
It was like, I think, okay, you know how in Fort, people will skin as an NPC and like troll that area. I think people are starting to catch on and making their names
like what generic
yeah.
enough so that you think you get lulled into a false sense of security, right? And even in those games, they will march around like the NPCs to get you to think that that's what it is, and then all of a sudden you get lulled into a false sense of security, and then you're screwed. Now I'm not saying that's all the time, but some of these people, I mean, if it's like I've faced bots in a lot of the lobbies that. You know, at the escalating levels of AI, I feel like the spike, like you said, I don't know if it was an update or whatever, is definitely real because nobody else was able to get that far. You know, and I think that it definitely shows me what's capable, even if I have to deal with dancing around with some of these guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go fix a bit of food. I'll likely be back towards the end. I'm not sure how long.
It's just three more. It's two more victories. I told them that
victories.
you were ready to, you know, getting.
Oh yeah, I'll be doing Dark Souls next.
Getting chopped up. So.
Well, I'll be fighting Soul of Cinder, which is finishing up Dark Souls 3, the final boss of Dark Souls 3, and then moving on into the DLC in the subsequent streams. So I'm super hyped for that. That is actually gonna kind of end my training period, getting ready to enter Elden Ring and kind of really go full force into that as far as that's concerned. Because I remember when Elden Ring came out, I bought it and I was super hyped, and then I almost felt like because I heard that I didn't beat all the bosses in Dark Souls 3, that I felt like I had unfinished business to an extent where I had to go back and then start from scratch. So luckily we're in the position to do that on the channel.
Yeah.
And I can see my growth from start to finish, and like you said, see the satisfaction of being able to, like, you know, you look at that first stream where I fight Nameless King and it's just learning the pattern of the first phase, and I even call my shot. I'm like, this stream's not going to be the one where I beat it, but I know this is going to be the one where I get enough of the information where to make it so when after thinking about it and resting on it, the next time I tackle it, I'll beat it. And that's exactly what happened.
Right. We talk about putting that pressure up against ourselves when we compete here at the Vid-Bits, as far as like whatever our goals are, and it's competing usually against yourself. You put a metric against yourself of what you're going to do, and you just try to, like, it seems like it's not attainable, but then when you make an unattainable goal and you attain it, it just is so much more sweet.
Oh my gosh,
that's
it's
like
so much more valuable.
It's like an allegory for Dark Souls though too, because I can, as a viewer, watch that. Like, I know that there's people that can't. If I think I could, but I like tell myself I can't. But I know there's people that definitely know that they can't.
There are people who
you know what I mean?
I was already trying to give some. I was trying to rally support for someone on Reddit because I was reading about Dark Souls and they said they were level 802 on this DLC boss, and like there are people literally. This was posted 6 years ago, and people post pretty much every month commenting under that. Hey, have you beaten this yet?
Jeez.
Hey, have you beaten this yet? And I was like,
Man.
I added my hat in the ring. I was like, hey dude, I was just giving them some positive vibes. I'm like, I just beat Nameless King for the first time. You know, I really hope that you can feel motivated to beat some more, sink your teeth into Dark Souls a little bit, and you know, finish that last boss that was your final hurdle or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's a motivation that somebody needs. Like when you beat him, though, I think I've checked it a couple times that somebody in the chat had never beat him.
A couple different people said that they hadn't ever beat Nameless King, and I actually inspired them to go and fight Nameless King themselves. So
that's so cool.
I mean, ultimately, our goal is to inspire you to change and do better things in your life, whether that be your gaming skill or things you're passionate about, and sometimes they overlap. Like whenever we can, we really just want to encourage you guys to work on those things that you really care about, because sometimes you just need that one person to push you in the right direction. But with that, I'm gonna go make a little bit of food, get prepared for this Dark Souls stream that's coming up.
Sure.
You know, and enjoy your Chomp Champ victory, and you know, your road to #1 in the world globally across all platforms.
Yeah, thank you so much, bud.
No problem.
That lane's a little. I would say I need that ghost repel. Or how about I would like to receive that ghost repel. two more chomps for me, 2 more victories. Hopefully in the can. We're gonna settle this stream on 605, which is 2 stacks of 18 Vicks, and then we will move on today into some other content the Vid-Bits are offering you, which is Bray will be doing his conquest to get to the finish line of finishing Elden Ring and the Elden Ring DLC by finishing up Dark Souls 3 in preparation for that. So that's what's coming up next on our programming agenda. Then I will be having a nice late night dive with you at Dave the Diver, followed up by right before the end of the day. If the Dark Souls stream pushes, the Dave the Diver stream will happen after the Game of Day May stream starts, because we have to make sure that we get that in before the physical day stops. But it's going to be a lighthearted kind of competition thing, kind of ease the tension, baby. And we're going to be facing off against each other in a game as our Game of Day May game. So that will happen after his Dark Souls stream. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and micro edit that. So it will go Dark Souls 3, then Game of Day May, then we will go to Dave the Diver, and then I'm not sure if Bray's got something else in the hopper, but then I will finish out the night with a late night nightcap with the Chomp Champs, depending on when you're seeing it. So the conquest to continue to be number 1 on the leaderboard has to not slow down in our way, especially when people aren't making moves. Every day that people aren't making moves, we have to make them. And that's kind of like a segue to, hey, if you cannot find the guy, maybe it's you. So, if you're not able to, per se, figure out what's going on in your life because you're waiting on other people to make the moves, you have to make the moves. So in this case, some of our rivals are not moving, and which makes it easier for us to gain ground, so we're going to move, and we're moving in silence because we're not messaging them, or we're shouting them out and giving them respect, but we're not messaging them and staying active so we can actively taunt each other on the way up. We're just letting each other stay in their own lane and do their own thing, and ultimately that is going to land us in the number 1 spot in the global leaderboard. So 2 more, and then, like I said, it's going to be Dark Souls 3. Then we will have Game of Day May, day, I think it was this 18. After that, it will be Dave the Diver stream. Then possibly another, Bray, he's got a couple things. He's doing Red Dead, so he's got a couple casuals, so it'll probably be either Red Dead or something like that. And then there will be a nightcap of Chomp Champs. So thank you for sticking around with our programming block, and I hope that you're enjoying it. We're enjoying bringing it to you. So it's Brian of the Vid-Bits, and Braden just stepped out, and he will be with you next. What other gaming duo is doing so much like that in a row? Like in the programming block, I'm doing my thing, he's doing his thing, we're doing something together. You know what I mean? Like, and it's a great thing because it allows us to rest, and so it's not as manic and crazy and as much value as we're giving you. And eventually it will regulate, because Game of Day May in May season is our WrestleMania per se, where we do the most. And I hope that you understand that it's just all for you. It's all out of love, and in this year, it's all about exposing you to indie games that you may not know, or in this case, maybe games on your backlog that you've seen the icon for a long time, many years. You've looked at the icon of the game, just kind of motivating you to touch that icon and download it and install it and mess around with it for a little bit. It's really cool that we can do that, and tangibly, even if you were to equate the amount of games in your backlog to a percentage, if you start whittling away those and turning them on, it's not on your backlog. If you've at least launched it, you can say that you've at least looked at it. That's really then the tangible aspect that you're talking about is how much do you need to look at it to take it off of your backlog and feel like you've had your day with it. Give it its day in the sun, so to speak, so that you can move on. And it's a good thing. It's you don't want to have all this regret of all these games that you could have played, and then there's a possibility that you'll have a game that you want to play, and the style of gameplay loop or the tech of the loop is then integrated better by a better experience, and then somehow it's not even a viable experience for you because you waited too long. So drop in the chat if there's any experiences like that where you waited too long and then it was on your backlog, and now quality of life improvements in the series have increased for so long that you can't jump back to it, or now you just can't see yourself being able to jump back in that more archaic mechanic because you waited too long. So don't let those games in your backlog fester, and basically that's rot. It could have been a great experience if you wouldn't have waited, and and now it's rotted to the point where even though it's still a great experience because it's influenced something that you think is better or has more quality of life improvements, you won't go back and play the older one now because there's been too much of those, and it's kind of your fault for letting it rot there. So we're all about you removing game rot from your backlog too. Hey Panther, we're glad to see you're going strong. Just now getting off work. I can't wait to see all the amazing stuff you work on. Keep up the grind as always. Hey, and thank you, Panther. Thank you for your support, your loyal support. Viewers like you make it so that when we do these things and you pop by, you're basically watching our programming block for the day, and you're able to interact with us in live time while we're doing it. So the accessibility there, and when stuff like this happens and we get to touch base on any of the projects that we're doing, we greatly appreciate that. So thank you, Pink Panther, for stopping by. Also, thank you so far to Winnie for stopping by and chat. And it's important to me and then we got members like Matthew, and then we started off the stream with DJ Irish Boy Windu. Hopefully you subbed. I think that you may have, but thank you for stopping by and waving at us and giving us a look today as we continue to dominate the U.S. Eastern Division, right underneath Kofi, but in the second place position, and then also we are globally in the third place position there too. So having this to tout and being able to be a part of this is amazing, and thank you very much for our community to help prop up and give us the motivation to do great feats like this. One more dub, guys, one more dub, and we will be ending this stream probably right around the 3 hour and 30 minute mark, which is, we had a little bit of DPS in stream. We had to reset a couple times, but when two pack snacks are together, those streams are a little bit over 3 hours because it takes 90 minutes for me to rack up 18 dubs if I'm min-maxing that session. So that's what we call a 90-minute session, a pack snack, or 18 dubs, or a couple of those as a snack pack. So we got a snack pack with a little bit of being hungry and forgetting our manners, as far as time goes, because we had to keep, resetting the stream to make sure that we didn't have stability issues and stuff like that. Hopefully, again, that's the only reason why a guy like P-Man lost their streak, because I feel and lament the loss of the streak. And the Chief, if you heard earlier when we addressed it, was very verbal too, that he lamented the loss of the streak for P-Man too, or either that or he's like, we can't focus on that, P-Man can't focus on that, so he decided to be vocal about it. And we don't know that person personally. We were just at the beginning of the first pack snack of this stream, we were able to scroll down the leaderboard and just kind of show where some of the people that were competing and undefeated were. So that's also how we will end this in like a full circular moment. After we get this dub, we'll go on the leaderboard and we'll scroll back down to the 10th highest people that are on undefeated streaks, and then look at that, and so that when you look at the streak from the beginning to the end, you can see what changed there during the course of me playing for 3.5 hours live for you guys. So also those people can kind of get a little bit of their flowers when they're making moves and spending time. I'm not DMing them or anything like that, but also just trying to find a way to give them some props for the time that they're putting in this amazing game by Bandai Namco Entertainment. So thank you very much for that. Not sponsored, but one of these sponsored. I only feel like the need to disclaim that because, we haven't gone through the professional courtesy of finding out how to go about doing that, but we just are gushing about you guys at this point and making sure that you understand how much love we have for you, so thank you very much. Full transparency, full disclosure. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. That was my fault, guys. I ended the stream out at 8th place, and that's probably the only time I've gotten to 8th place. I made 2 bad mistakes. That's funny. It keeps me humble, guys. It definitely keeps me humble. It also makes me know that when we start the next stream, I'm starting at a 0 streak as far as like, first place victories. It is totally fine. If you think it's funny or, if it makes you sad, I'm sorry about that. I do try to maintain a streak, but I tried some dumb stuff there in that last one, but it's all good. I digress, and again, we'll bump that 8. That gives us a motivation to bump that 8 off there, and like I said, starting from 605, we'll know if we can get a good lengthy win streak, that'll be where that's going for. So let's go ahead and now do that recap I talked about. We're going to go ahead and jump on here and look at the leaderboard. I'm going to scroll down let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there it is. So, all right, now Rounding out in 10th place at the end of this session of Mega Battle Chomp Champs, we have Shy at number 10 and with 191 and 0. Number 9, Eli E1 with 193 and 0. Number 8, Freight Train 799 with 208 and 0. Number 7, Stolen Shot with 209 and 0. Number 6, Lucifer Heaven with 228 and 0. Number 5 will be Davy Ow 00 with 298 and 0. Number 4, Space with 334 and 0. Number 3 is Mr. Socrates 1988 at 489 and 0. Number 2 will be us truly at 605 and 0. And number 1 is the man, Kofi, or the woman, or they, or them. I don't want to misgender them. Kofi YT is the leader of the undefeated pack here. So you can see though, when we started, there was 3 trios of people that were undefeated facing each other, and we were on the top of those. This is gone. This trio is gone. And that trio split by Big Joe 4200 making big moves. And that trio unfortunately was busted up, or one of them was busted up. Where's P-Man? There's P-Man. Yeah, unfortunately P-Man suffered a loss, and I feel for you though. And then we also, to end up the stream, is touting about how Eve Branch has been doing great, putting in the work, putting the work per se. So, with the other milestones being that Mint is 14 wins away from being the first person to crest 1,000. We were only the third people to hit 40,000 rating, so that's awesome. We're continuing to climb milestones like that, and hopefully, we can continue to get great milestones like that, so there can be like little sub-accomplishments on our way to the top in defeating our rivals Kofi and Mint Daddy, so that we can become the #1 Chomp Champ globally. But right now, we're completely happy to marinate on being number 3 globally. And then if you look over here, number 2 in the U.S. Eastern Division of this game, again underneath Kofi. Yeah, it says 75. Minus 25 was the low, so you lose rating if you take that. That's what the 25 is. I was wondering what the 75s all across the board were. It's to let you know what the last win was. So it actually lets you know that's what it is. It's to let you know the last amount of acclimated experience points. So when you see the negative 25, that means that when they got the loss, it made them lose 25 experience points. I finally get that now. So the 35 was because we placed 8th, and it's letting me know that the last game I placed 8th. So that's kind of cool. But I did not know that. So I actually learned that too. So. But then again, I just want you to know that we appreciate being the 3rd best globally, the 2nd best locally, and the 1st best in the best PlayStation player in the world at Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs. So thank you very much to Bandai Namco Entertainment for letting me play this amazing game, and we will see you on the next one. Stay tuned for another episode of Game of Day May later, but next will be Brayden with Dark Souls 3. This has been Brian from the Vid-Bits, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.